What's going on, scallywags? And good day to you, to yours, to mine, to everybody's. It's Reese on the radio. You know we are online today. Red Sox are playing live right now on the regular broadcast station. So we are strictly online today. So I have to be very, very cognizant of the clock and everything that's going on around me. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into today. This is still weird to me, because it was so much different when I was in Texas, and I'm still trying to get my feet under me. No, you're not going to hear the music. There is no music if you are online. We have not set it up that way, Craig. I apologize. We're almost there. They're working on it, technically, to work on it to make sure we get it back to normal. But this will be what you hear of the show, and of the show, it will just be me and sound bites and things like that. But if you want to hear the show with all of the elements, you got to go to WTIC.com. That's WTIC.com, or go to the Odyssey app in order to catch the full effect of the show. Other than that, we are going to sound like MTV Unplugged if you're at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can still watch the show if you want to. Same thing that we always do. Audio, video elements are there as well. We got plenty of stuff to get into today that I want to talk about. And, of course, if you wish to opine, you still can at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Lori, me too. I like the online version as well from Reese on the radio. Not that I really need to get into this, but I thought this was interesting. And maybe no one recognized the humor in this post, but Stevie V is on X, and he was responding to this. But this is what the post says. It's unrelated to anything we're talking about today. I just want to mention it because it drives me crazy to read it. If you want to know how horrible our public schools are, I want you to take this headline into consideration. Our public school education is so bad that this headline, no one noticed the mathematical error. Headline: 2 female teachers forced to resign after allegedly trying to set up a foursome with one of their students. I say again, don't know. Try not to pay attention to how absurd what the 2 teachers were forced to resign over. I want you to understand the mathematical problem here. 2 female teachers were forced to resign after allegedly trying to set up a foursome with one of their students. 2 teachers, 1 student's foursome. 2 plus 1 equals 3, not 4. Unless I'm missing something. I couldn't believe it when I read it. I went, nobody noticed that? I did. Probably because I'm too much of a cynic. But yes, that's an actual headline. Like, what is wrong? Like, the person who wrote the story didn't see the math problem there that they did not solve. 2 teachers trying to do a foursome with 1 student. Missing person here. Anyway, just figured I'd just bring that up. Anyway. It's just insane to me. Anyway, are Democrats in Connecticut telling us to leave? And shouldn't we ask them? I really do believe this. I think that Democrats in the state are telling everyone to leave. Rich, poor, left, right, I think that's what they're doing. It cannot be any other explanation. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, or else they are just idiots. And they must be. Because every time I turn around, there is a growing number of people who are in need and a decreasing number of people with the wealth to serve them. And I don't understand how they don't get it. They should, but they do not. They are proposing another 1.75% in taxes, a surcharge, if you will. I read this today and I go, how do you not get this? How do you not get that you cannot nickel and dime the wealthy to pay for the poor. And if you don't see yourself as just as public officials, just as elected officials, if you do not understand, if you're not reading the writing on the wall that says, damn, we keep getting an increased number of people who need. Every facet of our lives is growing in the needy section. Every day they're waking up and saying to themselves, like, how do you miss that? Every day you wake up saying to yourself, wait. So the people leaving us, growing. The people needing us, growing. And we should keep doing the same. It's like nobody is doing a 180 reversal that's just going, hell, tax them more. The more people who leave, we'll just tax the people who stay to compensate for those who have left. Under the impression these people won't leave either. A 1.75% surcharge on capital gains income. And these are profits from selling stocks, investments, and businesses, etc. People who are single filers who have an income over $1 million per year, married couples filing jointly with an income of over $2 million a year. This starts in 2027. The income year is 2027. The projected revenue from this is $260 million. They'd advanced out of the Democrat-controlled Finance Committee on Tuesday. Yesterday. It faces an uphill battle, of course, because Ned Lamont could veto it. He could oppose this. Will he? I don't know. I doubt it. The capital gains, right? So all of the money of the stock that you would sell. Stock brought it $100. You sold it at $200. That $100 gain taxed at 1.75%. Connecticut already taxes capital gains at an ordinary income under the state income tax. Top rate is 6.99 for high earners. This would throw on another 1.75. This is extra on the top. The people who are calling for it, think about it. Here's what they're calling it. They're calling it fairness because capital gains gets preferential treatment federally. So, because the federal government wants the top earners who actually take more risk with their own money, they've decided to give them a tax break. But Connecticut has said, screw that. The federal government is looking out for you, so we are going to punish you because they are giving you a break. And we're saying, you live here, you're not getting off the hook. What's this going to pay for? The usual stuff. Education that sucks, kids that are truant, teachers who keep demanding more money for the worst turnout of a product known to man. It's just true. It's a fact. Everybody knows this. But they're going to keep doing it. They say, according to Democrats, that there is a shrinking federal aid under the current administration requires new state revenue to protect programs and reduce debt. The state's tax system is regressive. Low and middle income families pay higher effective rate than the wealthy. Not that they are lowering the rate for middle income folks. They're keeping that the same. They're just arguing, look, our middle income folks are still paying a higher tax. We're not going to change that. We're just going to tax the rich more. That's the argument. They're targeting unearned income from Wall Street profits, mostly in wealthy Fairfield County. Revenue would help fund education, social services, and offset would offset volatility in the budget, and which Connecticut relies heavily on. Connecticut already has one of the highest overall tax burdens in the U.S. High earners and businesses have been fleeing for years to lower tax states like Florida, Texas, and even neighboring ones. Governor Lamont himself, who they say is a successful businessman, has warned that these hikes accelerate out-migration, which means that he could very well veto this. But the question becomes, Will he be pressured to vote for it anyway or to sign the bill anyway? I believe so. And I think he'll hold it off until the election. That's my view. But again, I asked the question, and it should be asked of every Democrat in the state. Are you trying to drive people out of Connecticut? Now, I know that most of them will immediately, switch the subject or think you're being, obtuse or ridiculous in the question. But it's not like they don't see it. It's not like they haven't seen it all over the country. It's not like every year we don't have a report about people who are moving to places like Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, and Florida. It's not like they don't know that's happening. It's not like they don't know. They listen to everyone who's saying, I don't think I can stay, even people who vote for them. It's not like they don't know that. They do. And their response to that is to go right back to Hartford, go right back at that legislature and say, how can we tax them more? And it sucks because it's not like we're going to get anybody in the media to ask the question. They have got, I've read every one of the articles from every one of the newspapers, and I've seen all of the television stations and all the reporters who have had first-hand knowledge of or relationships with every one of these legislators. And never once have they walked up to him and said, are you trying to drive people out of this state? Just one question. If we could get anybody on the record to just ask one person, Martin Looney, Bob Duff, anybody, just say, listen, I get it. I know you want to take care of the poor. I get it. I know we have a growing poor population in this country, in this state. Yes, I know affordability is the issue. But for people who are screaming and hollering about affordability, why is the answer constant taxation? When are we actually going to address affordability by not punishing people for doing well? When are we actually going to make things easier or less expensive for people to buy? Or do you have any, plans on executing that? Do you have any ideas? Have you talked to anyone? No, of course not. But all we need is just one reporter, maybe two, to ask the question, to get these people on the record. What are you doing to avoid raising taxes on a group of people that you know will make them leave the state? If you could get one of those folks on the record, in fact, if you could get one of those folks to even dismiss the question, I want it on camera. I want the audio soundbite of it. I would like to hear it because you all know it. You all live here and you know you're experiencing it. I know you are. I know a lot of you, and I'm not going to say any names, you guys are running around sending your resumes. I'm talking about people in the press. You're sending your resumes to other states. Don't think I don't know. People talk. People in this business talk. And they talk to me. I know a lot of you people are running around thinking nobody's going to notice when you leave your job and end up in another place where the opportunities are because you're sick and tired of running the same dumb articles and not being able to do real journalism here. I know who you are. And just for the record, I hope you know that I know who you are. I'm a nice guy. I don't start dropping dimes on people, and I'm no snitch. But I know a lot of you are tired of not being able to do your job. And I know you're getting sick and tired the fact that your articles and your news pieces are being seen by fewer and fewer people. It's not so much that they don't trust you, but they don't even like you anymore. You're not even respected. A lot of you are loved and adored by the people you work with in the same industry, but outside of that, nobody cares. You're just filler. You don't even want to stay here anymore. So if you really want to make a difference, you had your opportunity. I think you squandered it, but you could. You could be doing so many things. So many things right here in Connecticut, breaking stories and breaking the backs of some of these politicians that are destroying the state that you work in. You could be saving this state by doing the work of the people who might want to leave or who are packing right now. If you at least gave the impression that you were on their side, but you chose your side on this one. You chose who you were going to align yourself with. And it's the same people who are destroying this state. I know you don't have the guts because soon, like I said, after they leave, you will leave. Because there'll be nothing left here for you to serve. I mean, it's like vultures. After the scraps are gone, everybody leaves and you'll be gone too. You're all going to greener pastures. Worst part is that when you get to your new place, try not to do the same thing to that place because you'll be out of there faster than anything. It's kind of ugly. And it's kind of sad to watch. I just wish you cared more about your state or cared more about your job. Especially you folks who have been here over 20 years. I've seen you. I've seen all of your gimmicks. I don't want to say any names. Now it would be mean if I said anything like that. But I've seen all the gimmicks. It's gotten so bad. See, if I say it, then people are going to be saying, it's like, who is he talking about? They're going to know. They're going to know. Let me just put it to you this way. I've seen all the gimmicks, and you guys know what the gimmicks are. If you ever see me in person, I'll tell you the gimmicks. And you know, everybody knows. Everybody knows. It's gotten so bad that, like, people are, it's really, really bad. It is. And I watch it, and I'm embarrassed for them. It's like, you're trying to make a name for yourself, and it has nothing to do with the stuff that you are stylizing yourself and not, like, you could be breaking stories here. You could be that dude or that gal. You could be, but you're scared to death. And the reason why is, and trust me, I've experienced it here too. I'll be honest. I mean, I've experienced it here too. I get it a lot. People always warning me, hey, we have this relationship, that. Relationships are reciprocal. They're two ways. And if I don't know you, if you don't come and holler at me, what kind of relationship do we have? Do I have a minute to tell? When we come back, I want to tell a great story. And I have to give him props. He's on another network, but I got to give him props. And when he admitted it, that's what I knew. I respected this guy. We're technically rivals, but we're kind of on the same team. And that's Lee Elsey. I'm going to say something about him because as a mutual courtesy, he actually said to me, he said right to my face, you know what? You're right. I apologize for that. And he didn't, it was a weird exchange, but I was happy that I met him. But I had to say to him, and I had to say to other reporters. I had to say to other people in this business. It's a different thing. I'll explain it in a minute. Let's get to the top of the hour news. John Silver's here. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio. All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio here live on WTIC, News Talk 1080, and of course online at WTIC.com during the Red Sox game. So if you want to check it out, or if you're trying to tell your friends, just tell them to go to WTIC.com. You know, we were talking about the legislature just finding new ways to tax citizens of Connecticut, of course, the wealthy. And no one bats an eye because look who they're doing it to. It's like the wealthy, the wealthy, the wealthy. The thing that I've never understood here is these people do know that the wealthy are funding everything else that these folks care about. And it's the attitude I can't understand. And it blew my mind. I'm going to say this because I can't say it without giving it away who I'm talking about. But let me just put it this way. So I'm talking to a reporter, and the reporter says something about a politician. I couldn't believe it came out of their mouth. And what they were suggesting was that the particular politician didn't look good because the person appeared wealthy. Now, when a reporter says that, while speaking to other reporters, I know exactly what your angle is. That you see the world from a certain lens, that you do not understand that all of these, so-called programs that you really, really love and you can't stop championing, they are made possible by wealthy donors. And if you don't respect their wealth, then to them, they are just people you rob from. Do you understand that? That there is a attitude of hatred that you have towards them. And I know there are people in this business like that. I see how they dress. I hate to call it like that, but I know you don't make a lot of money doing what you do. But this isn't about the money. You didn't get in this business for money. I hope you didn't. I hope you did not get into this business for money, and especially not here. I wish that I could tell Roseanne all the time, it's like, man, we're going to make bank doing this. Nope. We are going to make a median salary where we can pay our bills. But you have to be comfortable with that. If you think we're doing this so we can become some sort of wealthy billionaires and we're going to be traveling all across the south of France, you got another thing coming. That's going to set us back a few years. And I see the way these people are. They hate the wealthy, especially here in Connecticut. They work amongst them. They hate them. I wish they understood that. That's why they can't wait to be invited to those parties. That's why they have to go with all of the elites to be around them, the intellectual elites, to be amongst them, knowing damn well when they get home, there's a can of sardines waiting for them. I hate to say it, folks, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And they know it too. Yeah, I was saying about the Lee Elsie thing. We saw each other at Grassroots East. And it was the first time we had ever met. And he said something to me, which I guess he didn't expect me to say, but I said it. He said, I'd only been in town a couple of months. And it was like, hey, you never called. My response to him was, buddy, I'm new here. The veterans should have called me. I'm new here, and none of you guys called and welcomed me. Nobody did. Gary didn't. Lee Elsie didn't. Nobody. Not one person called and said, hey, Reese, welcome to Connecticut. And he was like, you know what? You're right. My bad on that. My apologies. And I respected that. Just a professional courtesy. If they'd come to my town, that's the first thing I would have did. I said, hey, buddy, welcome into town. Good luck. I know we're in competition, but you know what? Good luck, man. And the best man, knock it out of the park. All right? Welcome to the brood. And we knew, because I know we're going to see each other out there, and that should have been the case. That's what I would have done. Anyway, that's just me. But I respected the fact that he came out and he said, you know what? My bad. You're right. You are new here. Anyway. Moving on, back to the Lamont issue here, or the Connecticut legislature here. I was looking this up, And I want to lay this stuff out to you. And when I say, when are you going to have enough? And the news media, when are you going to have enough of the people who are leaving the state? I mean, they are running out of the state. So I went back a couple of governors. And let's see this. When John Rowland was here, 95 to 2004, iconic sports loss, but limited corporate headquarter exodus in records. Connecticut lost the Hartford Whalers. They relocated to Raleigh, North Carolina after the 1997 season. On the corporate side, let me see, some manufacturing declines, but scandals hurt his image. No wave of headquarter moves comparable to later years. Rowland era predates the worst tax spikes. Jody Rell, fewer headline-grabbing headquarter departures, focus more on budget battles and recession fallout. No major Fortune 500 headquarter fights on scale of Malloy or Lamont, which we'll get to, during her tenure between 2004 and 2011. Then we get to Daniel Malloy, 2011 to 2019. Let's look at all the people that left. General Electric, their headquarters from Fairfield to Boston, announced in 2016. Aetna, headquarters from Hartford, went to New York City, announced in 2017. 250 executives moved. Most of the jobs stayed initially. Alexion Pharmaceuticals, headquarters from New Haven, went to Boston in 2017. Probably most notably, other than General Electric, was Edible Arrangements. Its headquarters left Wallingford to Sandy Springs, Georgia in 2018. Malloy's massive tax increases, largest in Connecticut's history at the time, were openly blamed by companies. Connecticut lost its insurance capital crown and saw multiple Fortune 500 shifts. They lost its insurance capital claim under Malloy. I was going to tell you about someone that I was dating at the time, but it's not. I won't get into that. It's a long story. It'll take me completely off the rails. And, of course, you know what happened under Lamont. Stag Arms, the firearms manufacturer, they announced in 2019, relocated headquarters from operations from New Britain to Cheyenne, West Virginia. Cited Connecticut's high taxes, regulatory environment, and desire to move more business-friendly, pro-growth, firearm-friendly state. Out of here. Out of here. Who else? United Technologies. That was UTC, United Technologies Corporation. Now the RTX Raytheon Technologies. They're still here, actually. Most of them are here. But they announced in June of 2019, just months into Lamont's term, the headquarters shifted from Farmington, Connecticut to the Boston area. Roughly 100 executives moved. 19,000 jobs stayed, but the corporate headquarters and decision-making, those offices left. And they are still around in Farmington. You know, you can see that building off the highway, off 84. Frontier Communications announced in 2023, moving corporate headquarters from Norwalk, Connecticut to Dallas, Texas. Telecom giant explicitly seeking lower taxes and overall business environment in a red state. Recently, we lost Lego Group. The U.S. headquarters announced in January of 2023, locating U.S. headquarters from Enfield, Connecticut, where it had been since 1975. Moved to Boston, Massachusetts by the end of 2026. Boston pitched as better for talent and innovation despite Massachusetts' own high taxes. Recently, we just heard in February, Stanley Black & Decker, closing its historic New Britain manufacturing plant founded in 1843, impacting 300 jobs. Part of the global restructuring, the company is staying headquartered in Connecticut for now. But this major local blow fits the pattern of legacy operations shrinking or leaving. CVS Healthcare, or CVS Health and Aetna. Ongoing job cuts of 500 plus announced recently in Connecticut. Though the full-time move happened earlier, continued downsizing on the Lamont's watch signal no reversal of the trend. And, of course, just recently, we just got rid of the Connecticut Sun, which is very, very soon out of here after the 2027 season, which is underway. October? What is it? Oh, no, they have their summer schedule, right? So 2027, so next year. They have one more season left after that. So they're all out of here. And I keep asking, when is somebody going to ask? When is someone going to ask, how much hemorrhaging can Connecticut take? How long or how far will the legislature go before people decide enough is enough? They're saying we're going to have to change what we're doing. Let me see. SAGS has been expanding its operations and workforce since relocating to Wyoming, aiming to grow from 15 to 20 employees to 60 to 70. The move has been positively received, with the company focusing on revitalization and innovation in its products offerings. Thank you, Lori. I totally loved it. Lori is, again, research department. She is absolutely on the ball. She also says, in my opinion, open border supporters and sanctuary states are committing treason. Yeah, 100% on that one. Aaron says, and these tax schemes never generate the revenue that it's predicted because people who propose them use static models instead of dynamic models. They always spend the predicted amount to come up short, resulting in a deficit. It's a brilliant point, Aaron. 100% a brilliant point. They keep saying that they look at the structure that it is in today, not understanding that is a moving target, the number that they're looking at. And you would think that these people were smart enough to know that. But look, those people in elected office will never be that wealthy. And if they are, it always happens in an underhanded way when they're working in government. And when they do, then they understand it. And by then, they're out of office. It's a weird sort of game that they play. They don't understand how that works. So to them, they just see it, unearned income. I love that phrase that they use. It's unearned income. All income is earned, especially if it's risk involved. That is earned. You put that money on something, it is a form of gambling in the stock market. But they do not understand that. They see earned as, working in a factory on a regular job. That's what they think. They don't think millionaires or billionaires, for that matter, actually do anything. They believe that the money just shows up and it's there. I wake up in the morning and look at me, I'm rich. I wish that rich people understood the way people see them. Like that, I know it's hard for them to, maybe it's impossible for you to look at the average person to see how they're viewed, but I wish they would. I would love for them to sit in the room with a jealous, hateful Bernie Sanders supporter. To be like an undercover boss, but not like an actual undercover boss, but like an undercover person, just at one of these rallies or one of these sit-downs or powwows, and sit down with them and listen to the way in which they talk about billionaires and ask them a question and just say, please explain to what do you think of billionaires? And then listen to those folks so they can hear what they think of them. I think that they would see the world differently if they understood the kind of hatred these folks had. And truth be told, they do. They really do. I know that they understand that they're hated, but I don't think they understand how much. And when you get around a poor person, I'm sorry, this is going to sound mean. When you get around a poor person with that much hate, so usually a poor person is very humbled. They appreciate everything that they have. That's a good and decent, reasonable poor person. Someone with an ounce of integrity. He'll never do anything to compromise his principles for the dollar, and he understands who he is, and he makes good and makes do with what he has. But a hateful poor person, a resentful, hating poor person, they don't know how to act. The only thing they are is jealous. And that kind of jealousy, that envy and hate that's in them, oh, it's easy for them. Just ask them once, like, what do you think of those people? They're greedy. Blah, blah. They don't think it's right, and it's insane, right? They don't even understand that it's greedy to want other people's wealth. They don't even see their own greed. They believe I want it, so I should have it. I have nothing, and it should be given to me. You've got it, so why not spread it around? You have all of that. Aren't you going to share? And they think they should just share it with anyone. They think so highly of themselves. That's what these politicians do. That's the way they see them. They see them as, it's not even a money grab. It's like, you have so much. Give it to us. You're not going to spend all of that. What are you going to do with all of that money? And if I were any of those people, I couldn't be a billionaire, because I would go right to their face and I would say, look, listen to me. You're a bum. What are you going to do with this money? I give you $1 million. What are you going to do with it? I don't know. I would help my family. How would you help them? Help them what? Well, I don't know. Then you can't have $1 million. Come back to me when you have a plan. We'll call it me being a venture capitalist. Come back to me with a plan. I'll give you $1 million. If you come in and you say you're just going to give a couple of people a couple of $100,000, that's not a plan. Or you're just going to take the money, you're not going to turn it into more money? No, you can't have it. I wish billionaires would do that more often. I wish Warren Buffett would walk up to one of these bums and go, I've got $1 million in my pocket. What are you going to do with it? Tell me right now. He wouldn't have an answer. You want this $1 million, don't you? Yeah, of course I do. Oh, good. Tell me what you're going to do with it. Well, do I have to tell you? It's my $1 million. Tell me what you're going to do with it. By the way, you couldn't get any of these bums to tell you. They want all of it, but they couldn't tell you one bit of what they would do with that money. All they want is it. Because they're greedy. That's what they are, greedy bums. And they should be told to their face. There isn't anything noble about them because they hate billionaires. There isn't a good nature in any of them because they hate those who have money. If they really hated money, they just give theirs away, but they won't. They want everybody else's. They want you with all the money to do everything in the world that they say with your money. They won't do anything with their own. Spend your own money. I can't. Why not? Why can't you spend anything? Can you spend 10% of your money? 5% of your money? But I'm poor too. Well, you can't find a way to do with the little bit that you have. You can't turn $1 out of 15 cents. Why would I give you if you can't do that, why would I give you $1 million? If you can't make $1 out of 15 cents, I mean, that's a small scale. If you can't do that, why would I give you $1 million? You'd waste it. And we know what all of them do. They do exactly what all of these charitable organizations do. They steal. There's another case in New York right now. One of Kathy Hochul's aides is now an unindicted co-conspirator in a homeless scandal. A homeless scandal that took hundreds of thousands of dollars from the homeless and lined their own pockets. It's absolutely sad. And why is it always the black women? Why? Why is it always the black women? Are we that desperate for a weave, sister girl? Seriously, it's insulting. Like, how is it that more and more people seem to be embarrassed by Chili for being a MAGA person than they are about sister girl in a lopsided weave stealing money from the homeless? I'm always floored by that. Fannie Willis stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars, giving it to a boyfriend. Nobody's embarrassed behind that. But they're embarrassed behind a washed-up R&B singer supporting Donald Trump. That's the existential threat. It's absolutely embarrassing. These poor people, they got another congresswoman out of Florida stealing FEMA, what was it, a COVID money, to like $5 million of it. I didn't hear one person say, damn, sister. She stole all of that money while she goes on Capitol Hill screaming about those of us who are without or who are in need. And what does she do with that money? Lined her pockets and paid her family. Why would anybody give these folks money? And then watch this legislature turn around and say, we're going to tax more. We're going to take more of your money. You guys just stole $550 million. You stole it. And then they got the audacity to put out a press release to say, I'm going to tax more rich people. Day in and day out, there's not an ounce of integrity, not an ounce of shame coming out of them. And the news media just ran right by that. Oh, yeah, we stole $500 million and we're going to take some more. And everybody just goes, ho-hum, on to the next story. It's absolutely laughable. How can you not I can't take these people seriously. You're all a bunch of bums. That's what you are. You're all a bunch of bums, and nobody likes you. So I should tell all my friends, it was like, stop begging. It makes people hate you. Go do something with your life. Bob, do I really hate black people that much? You don't hate black people enough. How about that? Huh? You don't hate them enough. Let's put it that way. Because you are willing to let them rob people blind, even you. We'll take a break. Top of the hour is coming up. John Silver's got the news. I got more coming up. We'll see you. All right, we're back. Reese on the radio here. NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Let me see. What did I have here? 3 o'clock. Oh, yeah. I got to talk about this. And now I got to find the paperwork to it because I was in here going back and forth online because it's, I can kind of do that. So I saw this story. I wasn't sure if it really had any real weight. But I started looking into it, and it turns out that there is some truth to what happened. But I'm not sure if this is confusion or it is what other people are calling it. And let me just state that it is being called a backstab. That's not my words. That's what everyone else is saying in the political world here in Connecticut. Let me break it down for you. Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz, longtime Democrat from Middletown, currently serving with Governor Ned Lamont, actively participated in her hometown's Democratic Town Committee. The delegate selection process, that is. She won a spot as a delegate on the Josh Elliot slate. This refers to a group of delegates pledged to support State Representative Josh Elliot, who is the progressive challenger to Ned Lamont out of Hamden, who has been a guest on this very program. This is his bid to unseat the incumbent Ned Lamont in the 2026 Democrat primary for governor. This happened at a local caucus meeting in Middletown where competing slates of delegates are chosen. These local delegates later help decide endorsements, convention votes, and momentum for statewide races. In plain English, the number 2 official in Connecticut's Democratic state government has helped a challenge to her own boss by securing a delegate position aligning with that challenger in her own backyard. Now, Kevin Rennie was the person who reported this on his sort of daily ructions post. You can find it there. And he is calling this treachery. Why? Because, of course, Bysiewicz is Lamont's running mate and has been a part of his administration for years. She's publicly tied to his team and benefited from the Lamont-Bysiewicz ticket. That is obvious. But by joining the Elliot slate, she's signaling, or at least allowing herself to be used as support for the insurgent campaign against Lamont. Elliot, of course, is a large critic of Lamont from the left on issues like taxes, spending, and affordability, painting the governor as too moderate or establishment. Doing this in Middletown, her home base, in a key Democratic town with factions and influence, amplifies the optics. It's not some random endorsement. It's her hometown machine helping the challenger stack delegates early. That's what they're saying here. So I read this, and I reached out to Josh Elliot. And let me just grab what I asked him. I said to him, can I get a statement on the Bysiewicz delegate story? I'll be talking about it on air today. Sure. Josh Elliot writes this, quote, I look forward to serving with Lieutenant Governor Susan and excited that she is on the team. It was only this week that I found out that she would be on the slate that supports my candidacy. That was his response. And I wrote, thank you. He responded with a heart emoji. Which I'm like, I didn't know we were like that. But anyway, okay. So that was his statement. Now, before anybody starts turning around saying, what? I don't know. But the rumblings are the rumblings. And it don't look good. From what I hear, Lamont's team is furious about this. And I hope they can clarify it. Bysiewicz has not responded. Unless someone knows about it and they can tell me, please hit me up with a link if it's there. But I haven't heard anything. But Josh Elliott has responded and said that he thanks her. But it really, really looks good for him. Looks bad for Lamont. which I have been saying for a little while, that there have been rumblings. It is a quiet secret that Lamont doesn't look good, or at least somebody is hemorrhaging this campaign, or going to. But we'll find out. We will see soon. Stay tuned. That's all I can tell you. Just stay tuned. All right? And we'll see what happens. Also, we'll talk about this. Did you notice that the Democrats and the Republicans are rethinking the 10 cent deposit, or this 10 cent redeemable on cans and bottles? They are rethinking it. Many people are saying because the experiment has failed. That's not the case. That is not the case. The embarrassment behind the photo ID issue is why. They won't tell you that. And again, this is where I shame the media. They know damn well they should not be taking the talking points on this. Everyone now is saying, we're rethinking it now because maybe it was a bad idea and it's costing too much money. And now we have to concern ourselves with people coming out of state. And they're using the Kramer-Newman's analogy from Seinfeld. That isn't why. That photo ID thing, that hurt Democrats in this state. And it became huge, huge news across the country. And people were laughing at Democrats. And they know it. Now they're trying to say, it's just a failed experiment. It didn't work. They know that this looks silly, just as Zohran Mamdani looked silly asking for 2 forms of ID to shovel snow to make $9 an hour. Or was it 16? Who cares? Nonetheless, everybody knows that they look stupid while they are trying to hold the line on the Save America Act or their opposition to it. That this looks silly. And now that's why they're talking about getting rid of it, because they don't want any more attention to it. That's the reason why. Well, I paid 10 cents for each bottle. I better get every dime back. And you should. You should. That's exactly what's Sam the man asked, am I going to the Madison tonight? I cannot, because I have my 8:30 meeting tonight. I thought about that, but I didn't realize that Madison is like an hour. Well, it's like 54 minutes away. It should be an hour. Traffic may even put me past an hour to get all the way down there. So by the time I got down there, it'd be 7 o'clock, and then I have to come right back up to do my 8:30 meeting in Bristol, so it can't happen. Reese, did a white dude really ask you if you hate black people? I don't know if he's black or white, but yeah, I hate thieves, if it means anything to you, Michael. That's what I hate. I hate thieves. The thing is, and this is what Bob is maybe not honest enough to deal with. If you're going to make an argument about reparations, if you're going to make an argument about income inequality, if you're going to make an argument about any of those things, slavery and the likes, you can't be at the forefront of that argument, getting all the press, showing up in all the newspapers and the magazines and on the television shows, screaming and hollering about how we need an equitable outcome for black folks, and then being caught with your hands in a cookie jar stealing millions of dollars. You can't be that person stealing it for yourself. It's embarrassing. And the fact that people like Bob, whether he's black or white or whatever he is, the fact that he's going to call that out, right, and saying that anyone who does is some sort of hater of black people, I dismiss anyway, because everything he says is a joke after that. Because what he's saying is that you cannot criticize black people when they steal. It's just their nature. That's all. And again, I wish they would just say that to me. I wish they would look me right in the eye and they would just go, look, man, they got to steal. What else can they do? It's just in them. And if they admit that, I'll let it go. Like, say it to me. But if it's not in their nature, if they indeed are a noble people, I'm sorry, I hurt myself saying that. You know what I mean when I say it. Okay, I'm saying that tongue in cheek. Because that's the way it's portrayed, It's portrayed as just like, we all are good people, noble people. And look, if that's true, right? If we're supposed to change everything, we're supposed to uproot everything about our system to make sure that they run everything, that they are in charge, that their ideas matter, that their ideas change the scope of how we do things. If it's important for all of those things, that they have got it under wraps, that they understand this, that if you let them in charge, that their way of life will be better for all of us, then they have got to not show up in these arraignments stealing millions of dollars. They can't. And again, it cannot be the same people, right? I want the noblest of people making the claim and then never being caught stealing money. Okay? That's what I want. Benjamin Crumb, Al Sharpton, again, it cannot be the charlatans. It can't. It can't be like Al Sharpton can't look at the rest of us and say, we need equity in our world and DEI everywhere. And I have not paid my taxes. It can't. You cannot have it both ways. You're talking and screaming about fairness, but you're making all of this money and you're not paying your taxes. Dude, you cannot do it. You can't. Can't do it. You can't owe the man all of that money and then tell everybody else about how much money they deserve. Can't do it. And if you're not going to call it out, I'm not trying to listen to you. I'm not. Everything you say is of no interest because you're just a bum. And again, I don't listen to bums. And I mean bums in the sense of not the, out on the street bums. It's like you're a bum. You're a loser bum. And you don't want to call it out. And if your argument is always, well, they're black, you're a worse bum. You're a bigot and a bum. And I think the part that bothers them most, I will say this wholeheartedly, this is the part that bothers them most, is because I am unafraid. And when I mean unafraid, it's like I do not care what they think. I do not care about every one of the platitudes and the nonsense that they say. Well, you are so hating, brother. I've never been affected by that. And that bothers them because that's usually the tactic. Can I give you an example? Let me give you an example right now. We're trying to get this guy on the show. And you guys will remember him. You remember Luther Campbell? Luther Campbell from 2 Live Crew, Uncle Luke. You know, the old Me So Horny song and all that other good stuff. So he's got a problem that Chili from the R&B group TLC, No Scrubs and Chasing Waterfalls, her. And Nick Cannon, formerly of America's Got Talent. And what's that Wildin' Out show he's got? The Masked Singer. So both of them have been very, very vocal in public about their support for Donald Trump. And this has drawn the ire of the so-called authentic black community, as I like to call them, authentic Negroes. The gatekeepers of what is and isn't black. And Luther Campbell has now joined the fray in all of that, which in essence is saying, listen, Negro, you only allowed approved speech within the black community. That's what Bob here is trying to say. Because he even said it in there. He said, what you should do. You should do this. Don't ever tell me what I should do. You ain't the boss of me. You ain't in charge of me. You will never control me. Don't ever tell me what I should do. I will do as I please. You understand that? Just so you understand, dude. Free man talking. You could be a slave to any Negro you feel like it. You could be under heel with all of them all day. But please never refer to me as what I should do. If you ever saw me out in public and you said something about what I should do, you should be scared for your life. Do you understand that? Don't ever tell me what I should do. I take issue with that. Personal issue. But back to Luther Campbell. So he wrote an open letter to what he's called approved speech for the Negro. He writes, to Nick Cannon and Chili, I say this with love, but y'all wrong. I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for free speech, so I respect your right to speak. But this hits different. You were over before you started, Luther Campbell, but everything you said before it means nothing now. Because if you fought for free speech, what they have to say should never hit different. You should just allow them to speak and keep it moving. But he could not. He says, you're turning your back on black people, black women, the same audience that built you. Built you? I sold them a product they purchased. While standing with Donald Trump, who has disrespected black women, said Luther Campbell? I'm not kidding. He wrote that. While standing with Donald Trump, who has disrespected black women, said Luther Campbell. His entire career is about disrespecting black women. That is his career. Let's be real. Our people depend on opportunity, not having their success called DEI. Obviously, he doesn't know who called the DEI. Not having black history erased. Anyway, this ain't politics. This is personal. And yes, Nick, history matters. But so does right now. If they really cared about us, we'd be talking about reparations, he writes, not excuses. People ask why I'm running for Congress. This is why. To fight, to speak up, to represent our people. So we're trying to get in contact with his team, Luther Campbell. I left a message with his group. Again, I cannot understand. He actually wrote, I couldn't believe he wrote the words, disrespecting black women. This guy, he is Luther Campbell for doing exactly that. Like how soon we forget. And I met the man personally. He showed up with so-called bimbos. 3 black women he showed up in an interview at Hot 97. 3 of them. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't show up with a leash. So I'm dead serious. These are the guys who we're talking about. Like, really? And these are the people that Bob is over here defending. And that's all it is. Just just tell the truth. But I can't expect these people to. That's why, again, black liberals, worst people in the world. I'm sorry. They just are. They just are. Black folks, fine. Black liberals, worst. Just the worst. Because the objective is, I mean, they make Chris Murphy look like George Washington. I'm sorry. And if that hurts your feelings, mission accomplished. It's just really, really, I mean, it's despicable to listen to these people. And again, I don't care if it hurts your delicate little feelings, that's fine. That's because you wear your emotions on your sleeve, and I know exactly where to target. It's easy to offend you and hurt your feelings. Get them all. I want them all. All the black civil rightsers, please. I want them standing outside the building with picket signs, please. Because then maybe black folks will listen. Maybe they will. They'll all be interested. What exactly did he say? I've got to start listening to him. Maybe they'll start listening to somebody other than that nonsense they're listening to now. That's all. Maybe that's the case. Anyway, I got more stuff to get into. Stupidest thing I read today coming up. There was a story I didn't get into yesterday because we were so filled with a bunch of things. Where is it? And I'm sorry because I wanted to tease it. We got to go to the top of the hour. I got bi-switch. That's okay. Oh, this one's great. I was told not too long ago that Republicans are losing ground. Well, there's a new poll out of YouGov that says otherwise. And the polling data is amazing of the shift that's going to the right as opposed to the left. And I have an audio soundbite that sort of captures all of that and why so many people are leaving the left. And it has nothing to do with desperation. It has nothing. It has everything to do with disassociation. And it's amazing that the left doesn't understand that. And their own followers, their most extremist followers, are an example of what's happening. So we'll get into that as well. There was, let me see. Oh, yeah, stupidest thing I read today. I got to get into that soon enough. We've also got Negro Nonsense today. I'll also tease our interview. What's tomorrow? Today's Wednesday, right? Tomorrow we've got Devon Ward and Matt Walsh, of course, from, Mark from West Hartford will be here on the show to talk to Devon Ward, the ombudsman of corrections, to talk about the recent deaths that have happened in correction facilities, even after his audit of correction facilities in Connecticut, which was really, really damning. We'll talk to him about all of that and other ways that can be addressed, or if they have any plans on that being addressed. Also, if there are any updates as it relates to J. Allen Jones, which we still don't have a video produced for, which is, again, I'm still trying to know how many months are we past Thanksgiving? What are we, like 5 months now? Past Thanksgiving, we still don't have any video. Like, I've never seen a video editing process take this long. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that no one's demanding it. So, the Attorney General's office is like, well, nobody's asking. Why release it? It's like, why would we bother? And it's interesting because wouldn't it be, I think what would happen is that the attention that's going on with the police right now in Hartford, this would sort of add fuel to that fire. So I almost feel like William Tong does not want to misdirect or cause all of those folks who are rallying around the death of Stevie Jones and then drawing that ire towards him. But there was plenty of time to sort of put out that video and then have the distraction of Stevie Jones happen. But, we'll see. We're going to ask Devon Ward about that and see where we are. Because right now, the judge in that case should be forcing William Tong's office to release that video now. And it hasn't happened. So we'll get into that in due course. Wow, we are 3:30 coming up on that now. Let me see. That's, Keith Shealy. That's that. Oh, yeah, and the Republican stuff. Okay, so we got all of that coming up. So stand by for it. Your first check of traffic and weather is also coming up in the next half an hour, so stand by for that. Don't forget to always go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. There is always new stuff there, updated every day in case you missed the program. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. And we'll check on the Red Sox score if there's any. They're roughly about an hour and a half into the game. Actually, at this point, roughly about an hour into the game because I think they started at 2:10. So a little more than an hour into the game. We'll see if there's any score there as well. Let's get to the news with John Silva. We're back. Reese on the radio right here live on WTIC, NewsTalk 1080, and of course on WTIC.com today. If you're riding your car listening on the app or, I don't know if you're listening online. This is the show today. We'll be back tomorrow for regular broadcasting on the radio. We got Devon Ward who will be here, as well as Mark from West Hartford. We'll be talking with both of those gentlemen. In fact, Mark will be here to sort of, I hate to use the term tag team, but he's going to ask some questions to Devon Ward. He's been on this subject about the corrections deaths as well, and there are a lot of questions to ask with relations to that. The corrections in this state has been real bad. Someone told me, and we'll ask Devon about it, that a lot of what's going on in corrections in Connecticut, some people are saying that what's happening there is being covered up to protect former Governor Malloy, which I thought was interesting. Because I think there's clearly enough blame to go around with this current administration. And there's been more done to shield the stuff that's happening, not just just with government, but even on a media level. It's a lot of stuff that goes on in Connecticut becomes headlines that we move on from in the state. It's really, really weird how that happens, that some stories have a lot of legs and then for some reason they just trail off. The Mimi Torres story, remember that was going on and on and on, all of a sudden it just faded away. I'll tell you the worst part about that story, people fail to realize, worst part about that story is that there are more culprits. And there are so many more angles to that story. And people I've talked to in the news media know it. They know it to be true, yet won't go on those angles. And there's a web of individuals. I talk to people at WFSB. They know the people who are involved and the people who are unindicted, so to speak. They know all the stories. Still no appetite for it. So this correction thing is interesting because it looks weird to me in this way. Connecticut really prides itself. If you look at the Democrat Party here in Connecticut, it prides itself on looking out for those who cannot look out for themselves, the vulnerable. It's enough for you to say, because I know that a lot of you are thinking this. It was like, yeah, Reese, but they mean the illegals. Very true. That is very true. Probably more so than even American citizens who are living below the poverty line. However, they still sort of repeat that refrain over and over again. It's about taking care of the needy. It's about fairness and all that other stuff. But yet, on paper, yeah, it's widespread. This is who we care about. But in action, not so much. The McCrory case is exactly like the picture-perfect showing of them not getting it when it comes to waste, fraud, and abuse, or no true understanding of what it means to care for those who are in need. Because that audit and the FBI investigation into millions of dollars that were used and abused should be, without a doubt, a focus on a state that cares the most about what's happening to the most vulnerable people here. And here's what I'm more or less trying to break down for you. So, as a mission statement in Connecticut, you say, the reason why we tax folks is because we have a needy populace. And we have to make sure they get health care. And we have to make sure that they can pay for food. And we have to make sure that they keep a roof over their head. And we have to make sure that they have housing. That is their mission statement. And they parade through town and through the news media that one sentiment. That is who we are. Same thing with greenhouse. The green energy stuff, right? We have got to have solar panels. We have got to have wind, right? That's their thing. And then on the opposite side of that, we got waste, fraud, and abuse. We have people who are allegedly stealing millions of dollars. On the other side, we've got DQuat in the water, right? And those things are like they get, little pattering of stories. And again, remember the mission statement. We can use the mission statement as the reason we expose those who are running roughshod against that, right? We are a green energy state. And then when they put poison in the water, we should not hear the same politicians who say that we're a green energy state or we care about the environment. We should not hear those same people putting out statements that say we support poison in the water. We shouldn't see it, right? The news media should see that and just go, whoa, hold on. You mean to tell me the reason why we're spending $1 million on this, offshore wind turbine? The whole thing, the whole reason why we're telling people to recycle? The whole reason why we're telling people to retrofit their homes with solar? And you're telling me now that you're putting out statements supporting DQuat in the waterways? Somebody make it make sense. But yet nobody is going. And sure enough, the news media comes out and they go, there are a lot of online rumors and innuendo that are unsubstantiated about the lethality of DQuat. I'm like, dude, you're the ones who are doing all the stories about how we were a green-friendly state. These people who are talking about DQuat should not be seen as fringe. You should be embracing them, but you don't. You turn them out, you show them as kooks. And there's precedent here. We actually have stories from as early as 2017 and 2020 where people actually stopped the use of DQuat in the waterways. Your own reporting. And you ignored it. Nobody went back into the time machine and said, hey, we actually did have an angle on this. You just ignored it. And nobody's supposed to say anything about it? Like everybody's just turning around just going, I guess we're kooks now. The same thing with the waste, fraud, and abuse, and hell, out-and-out theft. Right? We got Bob Duff, who's giving a press conference talking about when he was defending Doug McCrory. He was talking all this stuff about these people want to talk about waste, fraud, and they want to talk about theft. Huh? Let's talk about the commander-in-chief in the White House, their candidate in Washington that's stealing and enriching himself. And then we get $550 million stolen, just put right into the general fund, stolen from the towns that paid it. And everybody goes, blip. Nothing. Quick to cover the corruption. Chris Murphy can't get off of his social media talking about the poly market scam. Talking about how they're using the president of the United States war in Iran as an opportunity to make money. Remember all of that? Hold on, let me see if I even got that audio. That was Chris Murphy talking about poly market. I'm almost positive I have that here. And I kept it. I was going to get rid of it. I was literally going to get rid of it. And I know I kept it here just because, well, he kind of bakes my behind sometimes. Sometimes I just keep stuff because he just drives me nuts. I sort of hate watch Chris Murphy. It's kind of weird. Oh, I don't have it. Yeah, I totally kept it here. And I may have just deleted it today. But again, all of these people screaming and hollering, talking about fraud. That's all they were talking about. Fraud this and fraud that. In fact, just recently, Dick Blumenthal was talking about how we need to have an investigation into the sale of the Connecticut Sun. Everybody's saying something seems fishy around here. You think? Like that's the thing you find fishy? The sale of a basketball team you did nothing to keep? Everybody knew that they were going to Houston. The story literally emerged in front of you. Now all of a sudden everybody's like, no one is interested in the actual fraud and abuse that's happening here. Nobody. And again, it's the same news media that keeps telling us that they care about this. It's the same people, same politicians talking about how it's their mission statement to do these things. And they ignore it when it happens right underneath their noses. And no one is interested. And it sucks because I can't be in 3 places at the same time. I can't. All of these press conferences that they have out there, Lord knows I wish I could be there. I wish I could do the show. I wish I could strap a machine to my back and just be at every one of these press conferences during my show and just interrupt my show. We interrupt this broadcast to find out why Bob Duff is such a pain in my head. I mean, I'm real. I say it every time. I wish that I could be there, just broadcasting live. To somebody sitting here and just, tossing to me out in the field in the middle of a press conference asking these folks. Because no one's asking. No one. No one is asking. You have to be at these press conferences. I'm telling you, folks, it was so frustrating to stand there in a press conference and watch these people. They're begging to be asked. Begging. Anyone got any questions? And they know that there's no reporter there. They know that no reporter's there. They're just cameras. Not one reporter is sitting there. And someone from the dais will go, any questions? Just because they know if they ask, no one's going to ask any. And I look around. It's funny. I'll tell you exactly what it looks like. It's just like this. They'll have the press conference. They'll tell all their statements, and I'm standing there. And because, again, I'm new, I show all the veterans respect. Right? Because if they've been there for 10, 15, even 20 years, if they are in the room, you let them go first. Right? Just seniority thing. Because I'm sure they have a relationship with whoever it is that's talking, and you're new, and they're going to ask you, who are you with, and all that other stuff. I'm going to get that out of the way immediately, because I'm probably going to sell them something snarky like, who gives a damn who I'm with? Just answer the damn question. What do you mean, who am I with? What does that have to do with anything? Just answer the question. But anyway, and I'll stand there, and no one will say a word. The place will go silent, and I wait. I'm telling you, I count 7 seconds. Did anybody have any questions? I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's enough time for somebody to say something, right? As soon as 7 happens, I go, Reese on the radio, WTIC. And I ask the question. They all look surprised. There's a question? Yes. And it's like they never, and they don't even know who to look at. You ask them a question and they look at each other. It's like the dumbest people in the room. They look at each other and they go, who's going to answer that? Do you not answer that? They're not even prepared to answer questions. They're not even ready for it. Why? Because they're never challenged. They know that the role here is to just go out there, tell their stuff. The news media is going to run it tonight or this afternoon in the news. They know it. So when they get a question and they look at each other, I know exactly what's up. They've never been asked. You have to look. I'm telling you, you should look at these people in their faces. You can see that they're confused. Wait a minute, somebody has a question? Oh, no. Did we schedule anybody? I've been in these rooms before. I know, because I've been a publicist before. I know the questions that the media are going to ask when we do the press conference. I know that ahead of time. Not because I ask them, it's because I know what they're going to. You anticipate that. That's the job. You have a press person for that reason. Hey, when you go out there and you do this, you know what? You're going to be asked such and such and such. Or I expect this person from Eyewitness News to ask you that. I expect TNH, they'll probably ask you this because they're concerned about this. This is a story that they've been dogging about. You'll have to answer this. We should have a response to this. They should be ready for that. And then somebody like me comes on and asks a question like, hey, what's the reason for all of this? And everybody goes, huh? You want to answer? Do you have an answer? They don't. They're not, because they become so comfortable with nobody caring. They become so comfortable with having their message just literally repeated. Okay? These people are stenographers, all of them. And I don't care if they hate it. Show me otherwise. Show me otherwise. And they never will. Because, again, you can't come to the party. You can't get invited to the party if you challenge these folks. They'll be waiting at the mailbox. I didn't get my invite. What is wrong with you? Like, really? It sounds horrible, but I really don't. Please. It sounds mean, but I would never want to be caught at a party with these people. What would I talk about? What would I say to these people if I was in a party with them? They are lucky I don't drink. I couldn't be at a party with these people. I would ask them the worst questions ever. Why are you so horrible? I couldn't be there. Like, really, why are you an arrogant piece of turd? I couldn't. Seriously, why do you hate people in Connecticut so much? Why do you hate this state? Why do you stay here if you hate it so much here? Why are you destroying the lives of the good people who live in this state who love it to death? Do you not love it like they do? Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think these people would understand. Lori says, people in Connecticut media relies on questions being fed to them by the top brass. Yeah, pretty much. And I get, you know what? It's wild. I can only tell you who the person was, and that was Morgan Cunningham. And I'm not going to tell you who it was the exchange was at, but it was an interesting thing because Morgan Cunningham and I talk every morning. And I'm not telling tales out of school because I'm not revealing who he was talking about. But I love talking to Morgan Cunningham here when I show up. He's a really, really great news guy, and I'm very respectful of him and what he does. And check out his show that airs on Saturdays and Sundays. But he was talking about he had asked a question of a politician, and he wanted to do an interview with them on one of his shows. And he was like, hey, this is an important issue. I would really want to have that conversation with this particular politician. And the politician's staff responded by saying, okay, can you tell me what you want to talk about? And he was like, well, I sent that in the subject, what the subject is about. And they were trying in a very, very nonchalant way to get something out of him until finally it just came out and just said, well, can you give us the questions? To which Morgan was like, no. Like, who would do that? That's incredibly unethical to do that. And again, not that I don't expect that to happen. It was just, it told me everything I needed to know. And again, it's like there are no people here who are prepared. And I know, people will tell me, it's like, Reese, that's just the way things are done here. It's a long time, long-standing protocol. So what? So what? Like, who's going to be the person who's going to kick the door open? Who's the person who is going to figuratively blow things up and just go, no, and no more of that? Because the results, and I look at it this way, what are the results of doing it the same way? What are we getting out of it? Nothing. No one's answering to anyone. No accountability. The same thing happens over and over again. The same people do the same things. The same folks get elected over and over again. Why? Because there are no checks and balances. While these people go on air and talk about there needs to be checks and balances. And it's laughable to watch. It is the funniest thing in the world to watch these people talk about, we need to put an end to corruption. And then corruption happens and they go, I cannot speak to that. It's like, wait a minute, you just gave a speech on that. Yes, but we're hashing it out. And it's a bizarre thing to witness over and over again. Can I take Tom in Bristol? Why not? Let me see if he's. Hey, Tom, are you there?
Hey, Reese.
Hey,
thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. What's up?
Yeah. Well, it's just interesting what you were talking about, and Minnesota really gave us a picture of that. Like, Tampon Tim was like the poster boy for that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I wanted to talk about was a movie I saw this past weekend. It was called A Great Awakening. And it was a beautifully done drama, a true story of George Whitfield's life and his interaction, and also Benjamin Franklin's life. And if you know who George Whitfield is, he was a one of the greatest preachers that ever came to America.
I know this story. He was a preacher. Who did he influence that was really, really prominent back then? I cannot think of his name, but I know it. If you tell me, I'm going to remember. But he was a very...
he and Jonathan Edwards were like together.
Yes.
But he had a relationship with Benjamin Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Like when this was in the 1740s.
Okay.
And like Benjamin Franklin was a younger man. Benjamin Franklin was a skeptic, not a Christian.
Right.
But he printed Whitfield's sermons, so they had a business relationship and a friendship that lasted for years. And I don't want to give away the movie.
No, it's okay. Give away the point you're trying to make.
Yeah, it goes to the movie ends in the Constitutional Congress where it was actually falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could not agree on anything when they first came, and people were already planning to leave.
Yeah.
And Franklin gets up and gives this amazing 3-minute talk on why don't we pray? Why don't we ask our friend who got us through the revolution for his help? And after that, everything changed. Actually, Roger Sherman from Connecticut seconded. He called for prayer, and Roger Sherman seconded it. Within a week, Roger Sherman and Oliver Ellsworth came up with what was called the Connecticut Compromise, and created our bicameral legislature that we have in Washington, and saved the Constitutional Convention from falling apart. But it was Whitfield's influence that really saved our country.
Give me the name of the film again, Tom.
It's called A Great Awakening, and also it shows a scene from Connecticut, from Middletown, Connecticut, because he visited Connecticut, and this unlettered farmer from Berlin, heard he was coming, and he got his wife on the horse. The two of them are on one horse, and they rode down to Middletown. And as they came near the Connecticut River, they saw this huge cloud of dust, and nobody was saying anything. Everybody was being pulled. And they got to Middletown, and he saw all the boats crossing the river, and this huge crowd of thousands and thousands of people gathered around this guy. And Whitfield was a small guy, but he had this amazing voice, and he had very powerful Spirit of God, and everybody was convicted. And it changed Connecticut. It changed everything about Connecticut from that point on. So, wow. But anyway, it's fascinating. They did a wonderful job and well acted, just beautifully directed. It's just a gem of a movie.
I am going to watch it now. Without a doubt, I'm going to watch it today. And I really appreciate that, Tom. Thank you so much.
Good. Okay. It's coming out this weekend.
Oh, okay. No problem. I will definitely see it. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. Okay, God bless.
God bless. I always like a good movie. I've been trying to find a good movie to go watch for a while. I haven't been to the movies since, I think I was in Texas. It's been a while. Exactly. It's been a while. Let me see. Hey, Reese, Joe and Lisa and Grayson, bad knees, couldn't run. I'm sorry about that. That's Joey V, who said that. You're the guy, Reese. Thank you, Ken. Much appreciated. It's I don't know. I'm just completely flummoxed by all of this stuff that's going on here with the Connecticut news media and the things that they claim that they stand for as a state, and then completely turn on a dime and go completely against that, and then don't even fight against it, or at least to change the corruption. And I hate to even call it that. I know you guys have been calling it corruption for the longest. I refuse to go there. I'm not going to fall into that. I'll tell you what, I know exactly what it is. It's not corruption. It is not. It is, I don't know. I'm going to come up with a term for it. But it's not corruption. Corruption's easy. That's low-hanging fruit. There's definitely a word for it, but corruption ain't it. All right, we got to go to the top of the hour news. It is going on 4 o'clock. I've said I was going to check on the score. I didn't even do that. John Silva, he's in the WTIC newsroom. We're out. We'll be back.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. I cannot believe that I completely missed my cue to do traffic with Mark Christopher. It's my own fault. It's my own fault. That's what I'm saying. When we're online, I totally missed. I think we just go to the top of the hour, just keep missing. And Roland just cut me off in the middle of my. He just killed me. That's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm not used to this at all. In the least am I used to this. It's a stupid mistake that I keep making. And I think that I'm used to it now. Like, I thought that I had a rhythm going because I've done this for so long and I should know. But for some odd reason, I missed it. I just did. I totally did. And now I got to make sure that I do it right this time. Actually, I'm going to save that. Stupidest thing I read today we'll do after Mark Christopher does weather and traffic. We'll do that in a minute. Also, we've got music news today. A lot of great anniversaries and music news is coming up. And I know when we're online, it's difficult for people to call. Thank Tom for calling. You guys rarely ever call when we're online. And I totally get that. If you still do want to call, you can. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We've also got Negro Nonsense. But with that being said, I want to say this about Ketanji Brown Jackson. And this is, again, I'm only saying this because I had TJ here yesterday. And this young man who is Puerto Rican from the Bronx and loves politics and loves talking about politics and wants to be a public servant, it is for a lot of us, we do have sort of like a job to do when it comes to forging the future of other people who might look up to us. I'm not saying that TJ looks up to me. I would only hope that he does. It would be an honor if he did. I'm not looking for him to, but if he did, I would be honored by that. But I look at that and say, when someone who's of that stature and somebody does look up, you've got a responsibility. Ketanji Brown Jackson is not living up to that. I mean, just not. It's hard to believe that woman's a judge. It's difficult. Anyway, let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he's at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We're back. It's Reese on the radio right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Let's do it. It's the stupidest thing I read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
I can't believe I read this in the New York Post today as I'm going through my usual stuff of stupid things. This popped up on my screen at the New York Post, and then I found out there was actual audio of it. So, folks, I give to you, without further ado, the stupidest thing I've heard today.
If I wanted to, I know people are going to think I'm crazy. This is going to be the headline, and people are going to laugh about it. I think I could be president of the United States. I could definitely run this country better than Donald Trump. As an independent, though, there would be a hard time for me to run for anything because, you know, the way the system is set up, I'd have to choose a side. And so, you know, I probably would have to become a Democrat. And, yeah, so, you know, am I at that point now? No. And I know people are going to say Don Lemon is crazy, but yeah, look, why can't I think about running for office? Why can't I think about being president of the United States when, look at what we have. Did anybody think Barack Obama, as he says, this guy with a funny name, is from a mixed background? Did anybody ever think that he would become president, that he had that aspiration? I don't have an aspiration to become president, but I do think that I could run this country a lot better than Donald Trump.
I wish that was the dumbest thing he said, but it wasn't. He then said this.
Do you know what else I think that I could run better than most people? And I was actually talked to my husband about that last night. A news organization. Because I was there, I've been in the game for so long, and I'm not interested in being, you know, the anchor out front. I could come in and fix the bulk of their problems and lickety-split in no time flat.
This guy is serious. This guy is serious. He thinks he can be president of the United States, and he thinks that he can run a news organization. Now, again, I can't help but ask myself, Don, come on, Don. You worked at CNN, if I'm right here, 17 years, maybe even 20. He worked there for a while. And the entire time he was there, I would say that Don Lemon had tenure, right? Before I guess, fired. But he had tenure, right? He was one of the biggest names on CNN for a while. He was probably the most viewed guy in the sense of like online and clips that were embarrassing. But this guy was never called on with ideas to save that struggling network. In fact, it's always been struggling. During the time he was there, it was struggling so bad they had to reshift the whole thing. They had to fire people. They had to get rid of people. They had to fire staff. They had to switch things around. They had to move him from the night and put him on in the morning. I mean, it was absolutely insane. People hated him there. His two staff members or two hosts on his morning show couldn't stand him. He was always making things uncomfortable for the ladies there. And it's weird when the gay guy makes it uncomfortable for the straight women. You know? I mean, that guy is supposed to be an ally, but the women couldn't stand him. They hated him there. And not one person ever said, Don, what do you think will save the network? Not one person. And Don never offered up an idea. He repeatedly made that entire experience during his tenure there unwatchable. He thinks he could run a news network. He can barely run the network he runs now, and he's in charge of it. The only reason why he ever gets hits is because of ridiculous comments like that. And again, I can be president of the United States. Now, look, Don, let me tell you this from the bottom of my heart, because I am not Luther Campbell. I am not going to say to you, hey, stupid, you shouldn't be saying that. No. You should say more. No. I'm all in for your free speech, buddy. Keep talking. I will never tell you stop talking. Want to hear more. What else can you run? A hot dog stand? Sounds like it. Okay, I didn't mean that. Somebody's going to say pun intended, but I didn't mean that. It just popped into my head. I don't know why. But my point was Then look, Don Lemon, of course he can say he'd be a better president than Donald Trump. Of course that's going to get, to say something that outrageous, okay? It is, of course, going to get Don Lemon media attention, but he keeps getting it for the wrong reasons. This guy is infamous for being stupid. That's all he is. He's infamous for being an idiot. That's all. And I love it, and I want more of it. Ketanji Brown Jackson is widely recognized for her exceptional legal credentials, featuring a distinguished record as a federal appellate judge, district judge, and public defender. She is often highlighted for her brilliant intellect and even judicial temperament, and in 2022 was rated well qualified by the American Bar. That's what Bob has written about Ketanji Brown Jackson. Okay. I want to do this as respectfully as I possibly can, because earlier I was talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson if you're just joining us. Okay? Now, what Bob did here was the laziest thing a person can do. Bob must be black. Yeah, I went there. And he must be a black liberal. Because that, you couldn't get more lazy. It's Barack Obama lazy. He believes that because he copied and pasted what some fawning article said about Ketanji Brown Jackson, that now that qualifies as facts. And the only thing that I asked, which he failed to do because he had no interest in it, because he knows that everyone's talking about it. Everyone is. It's everywhere. If he had taken the time or gotten off his lazy rump and actually did the job, he would find out that right now Ketanji Brown Jackson is being excoriated by legal minds all across the country about her questioning during the birthright citizens case that's happening in the Supreme Court right now, and about her ridiculous analogy about getting her or stealing a wallet in Japan. If he had known anything about that, he wouldn't have even bothered to copy and paste about some fawning article about Ketanji Brown Jackson. You failed to realize that at our state as a country, it is almost frowned upon. Well, it used to be frowned upon to not do exactly that when it comes to Ketanji Brown Jackson. You must say glowing things about idiots, especially if they fit a particular profile. In Ketanji Brown Jackson's case, black and female. We are not allowed in polite company to criticize her. We're not. Lest you be called a bigot, a racist, or a traitor to your race. You're not allowed to be honest. You cannot be honest about Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's just a fact. You're never going to be allowed to do that. Until they meet me, who again will not care. I'm not interested in the sort of rising up of idiots. I will not. I will not platform fools and silliness. I will call it like I see it, and you can call it racist if you want to. But I expect better. That's all. I expect better. If we're going to, and for those of you who listen, I just want to say something to you that I've learned. As a young black man growing up, you know what they used to tell me all the time? They just say, boy, you understand, you come from kings and queens in Africa. That's where you come from. That's your lineage. And my response to that was, and with all of that royalty, we still can't seem to stop urinating in hallways in our tenement buildings. Or we can't seem to stop shooting each other in the street or selling drugs and poison to our community. All that kings and queens stuff, we can't, we can sure enough recognize slavery. We can recognize that, the victimhood of slavery, but this kings and queens thing, we just can't we seem very, very departed from that. It's interesting. But anyway, yeah, I'm just not. I expect more. You know, if we're kings and queens and, we are the fathers and mothers of civilization, I expect that behavior today. If that's where we're from, if that's our lineage, that's what I want. And if I can't get it, I'm going to criticize it. Yes, I'm going to hold you to a higher standard because you're better, right? We're better than that. So I'm going to hold you to a higher standard. So Ketanji Brown Jackson is a clown. Okay? That's who she is. Let's just deal with that. And with that, let's do our favorite thing.
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
I cannot believe that this is happening in our prisons.
A new program now giving Mecklenburg County inmates a new way to express themselves as they serve their time. Leaders unveiled a new soundproof music studio today. Look at this. Officials say the state-of-the-art facility was funded in part by a donation from the Tim Bergling Foundation, named after the late artist better known as Avicii. Now, Sheriff Gary McFadden tells us why offering the opportunity to create music is just so important.
We wanted to provide an opportunity for our men and women to experience things that they have never experienced before and give them an opportunity to express themselves.
And Sheriff McFadden emphasizes that he wants to be able to help with the rehabilitation process while the inmates are in jail before any potential punishment through a conviction.
Yeah, we want them to express themselves through song, rapping. That's what we want from them. Murderers, killers, drug dealers. We want to give them an opportunity to do the thing that most young incarcerated folks do, put out a rap DVD or a CD. That's what we want. We want them to put out a mixtape. That's what we want. That's what we want. That, folks, right there is exactly the kind of nonsense I'm talking about. And he's saying that they should be able to express themselves. You know what I expect them to do is to serve their time. That's what I expect them to do. I don't expect recreation for them. I don't think that they should be allowed studio time. That's afforded for people who must spend it. You know how much money some of these kids have to spend in order for studio time? And these guys, all they have to do is get locked up, and then they get recreational studio time. Yeah, that's exactly what these fools are doing. Bob, it's okay, buddy. It's all right. And you think it... I read the comments just for you. He writes, okay, Trump is a clown. Deal with that. Listen, grab a tissue, wipe the tears. I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt. I really, no, I'm not. I'm not sorry that your feelings are hurt. I don't care. I really don't, brother. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me, right? You're just never going to deal. But that's why you're here. That's why you're here. I mean, seriously, isn't Steve Harvey got a show that you could watch? You know, you could go hang out with Black Excellence all day where you sit around and you pat yourselves on the butt and tell yourselves how great you are, and you ignore all of the nonsense. You know, seriously, I'm pretty sure BET's running right now. It's still around. Just get your behind over to BET, okay? I'm sure they're over there rapping about some other nonsense that you can appreciate. You know, why come here? To get your feelings hurt? You must be a sadist. Like, I am not that dude. Just don't do it. Tomorrow's show, again, we got Devon Ward talking about correctional facilities. Devon Ward, the ombudsman for corrections, will be here tomorrow. We'll talk to him about the recent string of deaths that have happened inside those correction facilities in and around Connecticut. If there is some neglect that's happening there, we'll also get a word on what's happening with the J. Allen Jones videotape that is yet to be released. It was promised to be released after Thanksgiving. We still have nothing. There have been no reports for it. There have been no demands for it. So we will talk to him about that as well. I don't think there's anything else that I can add. Oh, you're going to go watch Birth of a Nation? Sure, of course you will. Woodrow Wilson, showed it at the White House. Democrat, wasn't he? It's one of your people. Yeah, that's right. I think it's appropriate for you to watch Birth of a Nation. I think it is appropriate. You're a Democrat sympathizer. Party of slavery. I should find that audio that Nick Cannon is driving everybody so crazy, saying the Democrats are the party of the KKK and black people lost their mind. Really? Yes. I can't believe we're still teaching that. I cannot believe we still actually have to teach that. No one knows yet. But yet we're here. All right, let's get another check of weather and traffic. That man, he's out there. He's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. It's Mark Christopher. We'll be back.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio right here, WTIC.com and ReeseOnTheRadio.com. We are awaiting the launch of Artemis, which is going to happen very, very soon. I want to say congratulations to Jaden Ivey, because I hear they're going to pay him his full $10 million. He deserves it. Get your money, brother, and walk away. That is enough money for a lifetime if you invest it well. You know, don't give it away. You know, sure, pay your tithes at church and all that good stuff. You know, be a good Christian. You know, but ain't nobody here telling you what to do with your money. I know the rest of these rabble-rousers and so-called, you know, black activists, as I call them, blacktivists, will tell you what to do with your money. Generation wealth, boy! Pay no attention to those folks. Please do not listen to them. Half of them don't believe in God and damn sure don't believe in Christ. So go on your way, but congratulations to you. And I'm very, very happy that, man, you know, his faith in God, it's like 50 Cent says in the club. This is God plans, homie. This ain't mine. And that's the truth. I love that line in that song. Yes, I'll admit that it is a very gangster record, but nonetheless, I still love this. I love that line. This is God's plan, homie. This ain't mine. It's never ours. And, you know, he stood up for himself, and I'm very, very proud of that man. He told the truth. And I know that that's the thing that a lot of these folks don't understand. What they're upset about is what they consider like folklore. The things you're not supposed to say. Like as I was saying earlier about the Ketanji Brown Jackson thing. You're not supposed to say those things, Reese. You're not. Like that's sacred ground. You can't know. You can't tread on that. And my response to that is that's exactly the reason why we must. When people start being the gatekeepers of what you can say and what you can reveal, that's where the problem is. When people start surrounding you, just go, no, you know, we need this. You can't, don't trample on that. You know, start telling us what we should and what we shouldn't say and what we can and cannot. You know, this guy, Jordan Ivey, like he's not allowed to say anything about Jordan. Why? You guys had no problem crapping all over Jordan when he refused to back I can't remember who the guy's name was. Remember when Jordan wouldn't back the guy who was going up against Jesse Helms in North Carolina, they asked Jordan to support the black candidate. And Jordan said no. When they asked him why, they said because Republicans buy sneakers too. He didn't say because white people buy sneakers too. He said because Republicans buy sneakers too. And I'm trying to sell sneakers. And I ain't trying to sell my sneakers to Democrats. I'm trying to sell them to everybody. And he stayed in his lane. Don't ask me to step out of my lane. I know my lane. I sell sneakers. I'm not an authority on politics. How do I know that this guy's a good candidate? Because he's black? Like that's the criteria now? And he stayed in his lane. Nah, I gotta sell sneakers. You mind? So that's what he did. And he didn't pretend and all that other stuff. So I got to sell my sneakers. Now, he done sold them all now. Now he's bulletproof. He can say whatever he wants all day, every day. Yeah, sure, the whitey's racist. That's okay. He can do it now. Now he's safe. Oh, me, I'm a multi-billionaire. Yeah, absolutely. White man, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. White folks, absolutely. Devils, all of them. He can say that now. He's bulletproof. That's how it goes. But at the time, not so much. Still trying to sell the brand. We'll be back. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I'll go on forever.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio right here live. You know what? I can and I will. Let me take a couple of phone calls here. Let's take Armand in Avon. He doesn't call out that often, but when he does, he is always great. What's going on, buddy?
Well, thanks for the compliment, Reese. Hey, I think I've got a counter argument for everybody screaming that Trump should have never engaged in the conflict in Iran.
Okay.
So I was going back and I was looking in history because I remember this when I learned it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
There was an agreement between the Nazis before World War II.
Yes.
It was called the Munich Agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And it was similar to what Obama did with giving the pallet of money to Iran. It was an agreement between, I believe it was Italy, Spain, and England to appease the Germans as they encroached on Czechoslovakia. And basically it was a agreement to say, don't shoot us kind of thing.
Yes.
And when you're dealing with the Nazis, who were, they were so focused on the Aryan nation and everyone else was no good and everyone else could be destroyed, it's really not that different from Khomeini's belief system.
Absolutely.
So what I'm thinking, and I'm interested in your opinion, so everybody's saying he shouldn't have moved on Iran. Well, just imagine how many lives would have been saved if they didn't sign the Munich Agreement with Germany and instead England, Italy, and Spain stepped on the Nazis' neck before World War II. Right?
That's an interesting... that is given that... And you're saying that with that, there would never be any American engagement if that were the case, right?
The amount of deaths that would have been avoided even with the Europeans, because if they acted proactively like Trump is doing Iran,
correct,
it would have avoided World War II.
Exactly. In essence, it would have put a stronghold, in essence, enough of a vice grip on Germany that had been no need for, in essence, America to come at the aid of European countries that were, in essence, that were being toppled by Nazis.
Right. And Khomeini and Iran present the same threat that Nazis did. Everybody else should die.
Exactly. In this case, you know what? This is, you bring up a very, very good point in this, because think about it. Iran had such a stronghold on neighboring countries, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, which in essence is literally right across the water from them, right? And they had such a stronghold on all of those nations that none of them preemptively ever attacked Iran because they were fearful that Iran had, if not a nuclear weapon, something close to that would obliterate them. They did not have the wherewithal, they didn't have the, I would say wherewithal. They did not have the wherewithal to, in essence, attack Iran. They were always underfoot, primarily because they were under the belief that Iran had Russia and China in their backs. Like, if they were to preemptively strike Iran, that they would then be engaged in a war against China and Russia. I think that's fair to say, right?
Yeah, no, I think so.
Yeah, so with that, you don't have these Arab countries who know that many people had believed, and we were led to believe in a lot of cases, that these Arab countries were kind of in cahoots with Iran. Like, they had some sort of a relationship. They didn't see it the way that Trump sees it, or like Gordon Chang sees it, is that these people were really scared to death of Iran because what they wanted to do. They wanted to annihilate everyone because of their prophecy or their belief system that the world would be made new if they destroyed it. So if they had that sort of wherewithal and they didn't have the fear of Russia and China, they could have and very much would have succeeded in annihilating Iran to free the Middle East, so to speak. It took somebody like Donald Trump to come in and tell those nations, all right, a strong nation has your back, and now you can fight. And what do we see as a result of that? We see these Arab nations, weirdly enough, joining what many believe is their arch enemy, Israel, in fighting the very dominant Iran.
Right. So the failure of the Munich Agreement preceding World War II is just a reaffirmation that proactively taking care of a potential threat is a much better alternative than sitting on the sidelines and waiting them to do worse.
Exactly. Or waiting for them to have the ability and capability to do worse. Because that
Yep,
was
that's
always...
exactly-
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's exactly what happened with the Nazis.
Yep.
You know,
And they did it, and it was so funny because there were so many people who were reluctant to get into that war that Germany just went anywhere and everywhere it wanted to. And it also didn't help, Armand, that we had people like Neville Chamberlain who were just saying, nah, this guy's not trying to take over the world. You know?
Yeah.
It was sort of that sentiment, as it was in places like the New York Times, who was also saying that. They were very reluctant to call Hitler out for who he was. They almost sort of gave him cover to tell the rest of the people that there was nothing to fear with this guy.
yeah. So my counter argument to everybody saying that Trump acting proactively was bad, Munich Agreement.
Yeah.
Look what would have happened if we stepped on Nazi Germany's throat proactively instead of waiting.
Yeah, there you go. And don't forget, I always throw this in there. You know, Donald Trump, it wasn't like he was the only one who said that he was going to go after Iran. I'll go so far back as to 2016. Do you remember this?
And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
So it's again, everyone believed it.
Yeah, Nazis version 2, Khomeini.
Yeah, indeed. That's 100% right. Always a great call, Armand.
All right, thanks for taking the time.
You got it, Mark. I appreciate it. Armand is always on the ball. Let's go to Tom and Thomason, another guy on the ball. What's up, buddy?
Hey, thanks for the compliment. Hey, Reese, imagine if, I know Don Lemon doesn't swing that way, but imagine if he and Brown ever hooked up and had a kid. Oh my God, that kid would be doomed.
Dumbest. Because you know what? These two would probably prefer homeschooling.
Yeah. Then I say yes. The state needs to come in and scoop that kid out. No homeschooling.
You would change your whole position on the DCF thing, right?
well, we call it the Brown-Jackson exemption or something.
Right, we call it the Brown-Jackson exemption. We would just go, yeah, we're going to need a file at DCF for these two. Just like, I was like, are you fearful of abuse to happen in their homes? Like, no. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Reese, I know you're coming up on music pretty soon.
Yeah.
Your thing. I was a huge Bruce Springsteen fan.
Okay.
And I can't stand him lately, but I can't. He's got the gall to sing about
No Kings?
that woman that got shot.
Oh.
But he can't say a word about all the what are we now? 10, 15 women that have been shot by illegals, killed by illegals, stabbed in the neck by illegals.
Yeah, this guy, you know,
he's the worst.
And again, I wish I look at these guys and I try to figure out to myself, it's like, what happened to them? And I really do understand what it's about. From the John Cougar Mellencamp's to the, to the Bruce Springsteens, their audience is aging out to the point they need a relevance. And it's crazy because this happened before, scary as it may seem. It happened before. The bands or the groups that started aging out in the late 80s and early 90s, they were doing this too. They were joining in all of these causes and throwing themselves behind certain candidates in order to stay relevant because they thought that it would appeal to the young kids. Madonna did it as well. Remember, Madonna wasn't really, I'll never forget the day. Madonna said when she was asked, I think it was by Dick Clark, about whether or not her children watch television. And she says, no, my kids don't watch TV. I think that it's poison. And I remember being so angry about her saying that because I said, you made your bones in television. I mean, we wouldn't know who you were if not for television. How dare you suggest? But I got what she meant by it. And that was, she understood. She used the boob tube, as our parents used to call it, to make herself famous. She utilized the tool. She would never inflict that on her own children. But then when it was relevant, she had joined things like Rock the Vote. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, they all have.
Remember that? Yeah, they all were. Oh, like MTV did this whole thing called Rock the Vote. Rock the Vote. And it wasn't about any partisan or nonpartisan sort of point of view. It was all Democrat-led. It was all Democrat-based. And that was the moment. Like, people talk about Madonna as of late, like at the Women's March and all that other stuff. Madonna has always joined that. As soon as her music started to not become like trendy, or it was no longer sort of like the Like a Virgins and all that controversy, Like a Prayer, she immediately jumped on the political bandwagon because they know that the campaign was to reach young people, and she had to sell music to that audience. And that's what these folks do, and that's where we are today.
Yep. And hey, I Googled it yesterday.
Yeah.
Bruce is worth $1.2 billion.
Yes, he is.
It's time we tax Bruce. Tax the billionaire.
Isn't it incredible that the billion, and it shows exactly how bad these people are. They are running around with signs saying tax the billionaires, and Bruce is standing up there, yeah, tax the billionaire. I'm like, yeah, dude, you're one of them. And not one person looks up and goes, hey, isn't that guy a billionaire? Not one person even cares. Not one.
I haven't seen the Burns say anything about him. Hey, Reese, before I let you go.
Yes.
Did you see I'm sure it is, I just heard the audio. Did you see the guy, he talks, he went to a No Kings rally.
Yeah.
And he talks very effeminately, and he asked the people, what is going on? All we talk about is the Straits of Hormuz.
Oh my God, it's such a great video. Oh my goodness.
We're not talking about the gays of Hormuz.
And the woman and the idiot that he is interviewing says, yes, you're absolutely right. That's a very, very important issue. What? It's just.
Yeah, when I go home tonight, I gotta find the video.
I have it. I watched it literally before the show. I have to check it for audio though. But you're right. It is one of the best videos. What do you think? What do you think about, people talking about the Strait of Hormuz, but not paying attention to the gays of Hormuz?
It's another travesty. It's
awful. I can't. Thanks, Tom. I'll talk to you later. Okay, you got it. It is really, really bad. The gays of Hormuz. These people are the worst. Oh, I was listening to that literally before the show, and I wanted to bring it up. Hey, what is this? Let me see. Oh, that's right. Trump is addressing the nation tonight at 9 p.m. And the Artemis moon launch is at 6:24. So about 24 minutes after the show today, that launch is going to happen, and then he'll address the country immediately after. That's going to be, again, probably, and I think, how long does it take for them to reach? I think it's a little more than 50 hours. It may be just more than 2 days before they reach the moon. And then then I guess we'll see the launch, which should happen. Goodness, are we talking about a Good Friday landing? Wow. By the way, people are already calling it fake. They're already calling it fake. I cannot believe. Question: when was the last time we heard anything about Ukraine? Yeah, that's always the case. That is always the case. It's a story that they can't spend any more money on, and they move on, and they talk about it. Right now, if you want to hear anything about Ukraine, you're going to have to find it in the sort of the B and C section of the New York Times, unless something goes off. Like there's a mass killing of some sort in one of those regions, it's not going to reach the front pages. It's unfortunate, but it's true. War's still going on, but it's not it's not front page news anymore. Other things have taken. It's the same case, right? We still haven't found Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mom. Did you see anything on it today? Nope. Not a thing. Last thing you saw was Savannah Guthrie gave that exclusive interview on Today with Hoda Kotb. Nothing since then. Everybody talked about it for 24 hours, moved on. That's the news cycle. It sounds horrible, but in order for you to get any updates on that, it's like it's left to you to actually look that stuff up. I try to keep up on it. But yeah, we're nowhere. Which is nowhere on that. That war's just going to rage. And they'll bring it up when an anniversary comes up. They'll be like, we're in the 4th year. And that'll be brought up, and then they'll pay attention to it for the rest of the day. And then move on. And even then, it'll probably just be a byline. But this is a big deal with the Artemis launching. And, did anybody download the White House app? I did. I still haven't even been on it. I downloaded it the other day when it was announced, but I still haven't been on it. It's going to be an interesting... that app is going to be interesting in the next administration, because I wonder if the White House is still going to keep the app running. Like if there will still be a team doing that or taking issue with it or keeping it running. So we will, I don't know, we'll find out when we find out. Let me see. This is Artemis 2, 624. Trump's address to the nation is at 9. And you can tune in at whitehouse.gov or wh.gov, or you can download the new White House app. That's the text I just got from the president's text team. It's supposed to appear like Donald Trump is sending you a text, which, you can't help but feel like you're getting one from him. But I get an alert like every time they release it. Kevin, I didn't read. Oh, yeah, I got to go traffic. God, I just realized the time. Sorry. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We'll be back.
Wethersfield line. If you are traveling on the westbound side of Route 2, a little slow as you merge with 84 West in East Hartford. Traveling down into Middletown, 9 northbound delays approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound again is tight from 32 in Berlin up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound 84 is running slow from the 691 interchange up to exit 25A in Waterbury. And if you're heading into New Haven, southbound side of 91, you've got delays 7 in toward the 95 interchange. 95 southbound, you're tight 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Southbound Parkway delays 52 down to 50 in Hamden. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants. Just one visit. Open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Mid-70s. Tonight, we're cooler with some rain sticking around. Our low is 41, and we'll keep the clouds and drizzle as we head through tomorrow. It becomes a damp and dreary day compared to the past few, a high of 46. Tomorrow night, cloudy with a touch of rain. Our low is 40. And Friday, we'll keep the clouds and drizzle in the morning, then get brighter with a high of 66. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 63 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Well, the tension is building for the liftoff of the Artemis 2 rocket and a loop around the moon. More from correspondent Christian Benavides.
The mission will take them a record-breaking 252,000 miles from Earth, a little over 4,000 miles farther than the Apollo 13 crew in 1970.
We're sending that spacecraft farther into space than ever before.
This is the first crewed mission to the moon since 1972. It's planned as a 9.5-day mission, passing the far side of the moon.
If all goes well, the astronauts will see and photograph regions of the moon never seen by human eyes.
Liftoff from the Kennedy Space Center set for approximately 6:24. little less than an hour and a half from now. With just weeks to go in this shortened state legislative session, the budget wheels are in motion at the state capitol. This week, the Appropriations Committee passed a $28 billion plus adjusted budget for the coming fiscal year. Represents about a 6% hike in spending that Democrats say will fund education, transportation, and other needs, but Republicans are offering their version of a budget. They say their proposal offers taxpayers real savings to the tune of $1 billion. Senator Ryan Fazio, the ranking member on the Finance Committee and a GOP gubernatorial candidate, says they have a number of proposals.
Our plans for long-term affordability would call for a 20% cut to electric rates, mostly by eliminating the public benefits charge, as well as finding savings for healthcare costs in a state where healthcare costs have spiraled out of control by introducing more competition.
Now, Republicans say the $200 one-time rebate being offered by Governor Lamont amounts to an election year gimmick and nothing more. Downtown New Haven resident Bill Dully calls it absolute mayhem. The so-called juice bar nights that draw thousands of teens and 20-year-olds to nightclubs. They're not supposed to be served booze, but Dully says many wind up under the influence of alcohol or drugs.
I would warn all of the parents to keep their kids out of New Haven on Friday and Saturday night. If your child's under the age of 21, they do not belong here. Marijuana, K2, MDMA, ecstasy, it is available everywhere. It's a small group of people that come in and they pray and take advantage of the young kids.
Police say fights and even shootings result. 4 people were shot near the Gotham City Cafe last Halloween, including innocent bystander 18-year-old Alexa Acevedo. She died. A 17-year-old is charged in her murder. The city is using several tactics to try to shut down the juice nights, including changing zoning laws and getting behind a state law under consideration that would allow cities to restrict such operations. State police continue to investigate a late Tuesday night crash that left one person dead and the driver injured just after 10 p.m. Troopers were dispatched to the scene at exit 13 northbound of the Merritt Parkway in New Canaan. A preliminary investigation found the driver of the vehicle, James Russell of Bridgeport, somehow lost control of that vehicle, struck a tree, and it burst into flames. Passenger in the 2011 Honda Accord was pronounced dead at the scene. Russell was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Man is under arrest in connection with the fatal shooting last month in Hartford. Xavier English charged. Police say the 21-year-old was the triggerman in the fatal shooting of 49-year-old Colin Roberts of Windsor back on March 12th. He's charged with murder and carrying a pistol without a permit. Well, the UConn men's basketball team returned to practice yesterday after what Coach Dan Hurley calls a mental health day on Monday. His team still coming down from that high of Sunday's last second win.
I'm just really happy that we're not playing like tomorrow night or Thursday. Just the emotional high of that experience. If we would have just, it's good we don't play until Saturday.
Hurley says it doesn't matter that UConn's a slight underdog in the national semis against Illinois. Says he's confident his team has a good chance as anyone in the Final Four. Huskies left campus today in stores for Indianapolis. The tip-off against Illinois set for about 6:09 Saturday night. Baseball on TIC this afternoon. The Red Sox fell to the Astros 6-4. They bring a 1-5 record to the home opener on Friday, which we will have here on WTIC. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 224 points, the NASDAQ ahead 250, and the S&P finished up 46. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, it is fantastic to be back on the regular airwaves. I feel normal now. I just do. Let's do the thing. News. Today in music news, we've got Ella Irie, I think her name is. Anyway, she turns 32. She's the British soul pop singer who scored a UK #1 hit with Rudimental on Waiting All Night, and she's got solo smash like If I Go, and she's a powerhouse R&B singer out of England. Don't know who she is. Hillary Scott. I never knew this young lady's name, but if you guys know, the old group was called Lady Antebellum. Now they're called Lady A for racist reasons. She was born in 1986, so she turns 40 today. She, of course, had that smash hit called I Need You Now. I love that record. It is a big record for Lady Antebellum, and I still enjoy it. Famously, a woman who was on the Britain's Got Talent show who sang I Dreamed a Dream, Susan Boyle, was born in 1961 and turned 65. Other chart anniversaries that are out there, 26 years ago, Santana's Supernatural hits #1. That's what's got that Rob Thomas song, So Smooth, yeah. 37 years ago for the Bangles' Eternal Flame, which hit #1. Madonna's Like a Prayer, we talked about her a moment ago, also 37 years old. 42 years ago today was the date of Marvin Gaye being killed by his father at the age of 44 in Los Angeles. Yeah. That's it for music news. Mark Christopher, he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Now I can hear you, buddy. I like being able to hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too. It's amazing. This is something else.
I know.
When was this invented?
I don't know. It's just like it's sort of weird because for me, it's like an addiction. I am addicted to this moment where you and I are doing the back and forth. And if I don't have it, it feels strange. And
It does. You know, don't you feel like you don't have any clothes on? It's
yes!
like you feel naked,
It is
sort of.
so naked. It's like not wearing my watch. It drives me nuts.
It's well, thank God we can hear each other again.
Yeah,
This is
we go.
beautiful, and we're back to normal. Southbound 91, you've got slow traffic now 37 down to 36 in Windsor. Southbound 91 again tight in Hartford, 34 to 32 A&B, and some more slow traffic 27 down to 28. A little tight again as you approach 19 in Meriden down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Westbound 84 running slow, approaching the Bothia Bridge out to 45. Flatbush 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's heavy off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. If you are traveling on the eastbound side of Route 2, a little bit tight by exit 3. Traveling 3 northbound, you're slowing from the Putnam Bridge over to exit 13B and C to the Route 2 ramps. 9 northbound slowing, approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 southbound delays Cromwell Middletown line to the Aragoni. 9 northbound, you're tight 32 up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound 84, look out for an accident by 25A in Waterbury. Delays are back to the 691 interchange in Cromwell, in Cheshire. Southbound on the Parkway, look for delays from 52 to just prior to the West Rock Tunnel. An accident reported there. Southbound 91 New Haven slowing 6 down in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by NJM Insurance Group. If you dread dealing with your insurance more than getting stuck in an elevator with an overshare,
Bean burrito for lunch.
you have Insuranoia. You should have NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
WTIC weather.
Well, as we head through tonight, we do have some areas of rain about, low of 41. Tomorrow is a cloudy, kind of dreary day with some drizzle. It's certainly cooler, a high of just 46. Tomorrow night will be cloudy with a chance for some more rain, a low of 40 degrees. And then Friday, clouds will start off the day. There will also be some pockets of drizzle, but it'll yield to some sunshine later in the afternoon, breezy with a high of 66. Saturday is our warm day, sun and clouds, and only a few showers in the afternoon, a high of 78 degrees. And by Sunday, We are cloudy and cooler again. Some rain possible in the afternoon, a high of 63. Right now it's 60 in Bristol, 64 in Manchester, 62 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune into the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Now, I do this primarily because I know how angry people are going to be about it. But this is important, just to make a case. If you're just joining us and you were watching the game and you're back here on radio and you're listening to Reese on the radio, while we were online, I was talking and I said the off-the-cuff comment about the thing that bothers me the most about people asking for the millionaires and the billionaires to give up all of their wealth are usually these women who are elected officials, judges even, but they were always in front of the camera screaming about how billionaires need to give all of their money to this, that, or the third, to give this money to this cause and that cause, and you don't need all that money, and why you got all that money? And then when the fraud charges start coming out, all of a sudden we see the same people who are out on Front Street talking about all the money that all the billionaires need to donate. And these people who get caught up in these scandals where they're stealing money, always, for some odd reason, an overwhelming number of them turn out to be black women. And I'm like, can we address that? But we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to say anything about it. Right? Here's Uncle Luke, Luther Campbell talking about, disrespecting the black woman. He's got nerve. Talking about people popping body parts. Huh? Shake that thing, shake what your mama gave you, all that stuff. You know the drill. You know the drill. So I went over a list. Corinne Brown, Democrat out of Florida, 12-term U.S. Congresswoman, indicted in 2016, convicted in 2017, 18 federal counts of conspiracy, mail wire fraud, tax fraud, ran a fake charity that raised $800,000 for scholarships, spent it on personal luxuries, vacations, concerts, sentenced to 5 years in prison, restitution, lost re-election post-indictment. Catherine Pugh, Democrat, Maryland, Baltimore mayor, first black woman in the role.
Indicted in 2019, wire fraud, theft, conspiracy. Healthy Holly children's book scam. Sold 100,000 plus copies to hospitals and universities. She controlled as she controlled as mayor for $500,000 in self-dealing. Pled guilty, resigned, sentenced to 3 years in prison. $400,000 plus in restitution. Katrina Robinson, Democrat, Tennessee state senator. Charged in 2020 with wire fraud, theft, embezzlement of $600,000 in federal nursing school grants. Used funds for personal expenses, wedding, etc. Convicted on multiple counts, expelled from the Senate. Sentenced to probation after some counts were dropped. Tania Fernandez Anderson, Boston City Council, District 7, first African-American immigrant Muslim to council. Black Cape Verdine, arrested in 2024 on wire fraud, theft from federal funded program, $7,000 kickback scheme. Sheila McCormick, Democrat, Florida, U.S. Congresswoman, first black woman in the seat. Indicted 2025 on conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering. Allegedly stole $5 million in FEMA and COVID money. This is the woman we just talked about. LaToya Cantrell, mayor of New Orleans, first black female mayor. Indicted August of 2025, 18 counts of conspiracy, wire fraud again. Obstruction, false statements, used taxpayer dollars for traveling, dinner, cover up years-long affair with paid bodyguard. Pled not guilty. Claims double standard as a black woman, leaves office under term limits. Tawana Brown, Charlotte, North Carolina city council member, first former felon elected into council. Indicted in 2025, pled guilty to wire fraud. Again, fraudulently obtained $43,000. This is a judge, sitting and former. Judge Andrea Bradley Baskin, 36th District Court, Detroit, Michigan. Sitting black female judge, charged in January of 2026 with conspiracy to commit what? Wire fraud, embezzlement. Stole hundreds of thousands from estates of elderly and incapacitated wards. What are you people talking about? Nobody wants to say anything. You're not supposed to bring it up. These people are stealing from folks. And then they have the audacity to talk about how unfair it is and all the billionaires and they're the ones who are being greedy. What do you call this? What do you call this? No one ever calls it out. You ignore it. And then I bring it up and, boy, you sure hate your people. Yes, I hate theft. Yes, that's what I hate. You damn right. You clearly don't. You don't hate these people enough. You sit there and you allow it. And then you give me some stupid excuse like, well, everybody does it. Everybody does. Yes, okay, everybody does it. This means what? I hate being so animated about it. I do. But these people are in positions of power. Remember why they got elected. Why were these people elected? Why did they get the news coverage when they were elected into these offices? What did the news coverage say? They celebrated their race. They celebrated their gender. How great it is. How wonderful it was that these people were able to achieve these things in spite of their race, and how they are a shining beacon for people just like them. They're an inspiration to the little black girls. And then they get caught doing this, and no one wants to cover it? Why? Well, you must be concerned about the little black girls now, aren't you? Why can't these people be an inspiration as to what not to do? Hey, sister girl, see this bozo? Don't be like her. Huh? Why can't they be an inspiration? You ever think about that? No. Instead, they just tell us, don't mention it, Reese. Don't say anything. Don't bring any attention to that. Or else you'll be, accused of being a coon. I get it. I totally get it. But you guys keep forgetting. There used to be a tagline on my podcast. Dennis, one of my faithful supporters, passed away, and he asked to do a promo for me. And I still stand by it. Reese on the radio. Annoying Negro since 1969. That's my job. I'm sorry. If we're going to be anything, if we're going to brag and scream and holler about who we are, we got to call out the people. I mean, because that's supposed to be the thing, right? That's supposed to be the job. These people are stealing from us, and they're the ones with the screaming the loudest, talking about why we need to keep taxing the rich and the wealthy and those who have it, and protecting those who don't. And these people get empowered. They literally run on a platform that says that they are going to change things, and they're going to make your life better. And with them, with equity on their side, they are going to make sure that they are going to right the ship. They're going to turn the tables and make it fair for everybody and make everything better. And then over and over again, we shouldn't have a list like that. By the way, that list that I just gave you, that's just the last 10 years. That's the last 10 years of women. I didn't even get into men. That's just women. To find out all of this corruption is all over there. And they're the ones, again, wildly, and this is the part that many people need to understand. Why do we have the electorate that we have here today? Because overwhelmingly, the people who vote for these folks are black women. They're the most liberal. What's my point? It's this one. And it's wild that I saw this today. Let me see if I can get this. This is, yes, this chart. And I have the breakdown of it. If you can see it online on WTIC, on ReeseOnTheRadio.com, you can read it. And what it is saying that the number of each group, which is either leaning more Republican or more Democrat, there's only one group that's going more Democrat on this list, weirdly enough. And it is, according to this chart, white men who are college graduates. Everybody else is going right to Republicans, except for white male college graduates. That's the only group that are going to the left. According to this, white men, no college degree, it was 12 that already leaned Republican by 12 points. Now it's 23% higher. That's an 11-point shift. White women, no college degree, was plus 2%, now 20. That shift is a 22-point swing. And it's a huge number for non-college white women. Flipped hard, likely over inflation, crime, education, and parental rights. And the woke overreach. White men, college graduates, used to be plus 3, now 7. White women, college graduates, was 19, now plus 8. 11-point move towards Republicans. Still most Democratic white subgroup, but the gap narrowed significantly. Hispanic men, no college, plus 9, 14-point shift right. Hispanic men with college, 10-point shift right. Hispanic women, no college, 18-point shift to the right. Hispanic women with a college, 25-point switch to the right. Black men, no college, 26-point shift towards the GOP. Black men in college, 15-point shift to the right. Black women, no college, 24-point shift to the right. Black women with college, 17-point shift to the right. The big story there is the largest shift among black men without degrees, even with heavy Democratic messaging, with issues like crime, fatherlessness, school choice, and economic stagnation under Biden are creating real movement. Black support for Republicans, especially Trump, hit record highs in recent cycles. Not massive yet, but the trend is clear, and the directional lead is bad for Democrats. Those are all the groups you need to know. And that's not the only thing that's hurting them. It's also stuff like this that really, really hurts them.
have an idea. A No Kings protest, but we have weapons and we use them.
Yeah, that's right. It's that kind of sentiment that's online and everywhere. Talking about using violence at No Kings protests. You're scaring off your base. And what really hurts that, and this is the real honest-to-goodness truth, you think about it. If you're the type of Democrat that keeps saying to Republicans, do you support this? And you do that often. Every time Pete Hegseth says something, every time the Washington Post writes something about Pete Hegseth or something about Donald Trump and something he said or something he does, you always go to your Republican friends and you say, do you support this? Well, as I like to say, back at you.
I have an idea. A No Kings protest, but we have weapons and we use them.
Do you support this? Because none of you ever answer those questions. Do you support this behavior? Do you support this type of violence against your political enemies? And because people can't, they are bailing on you. They're running away. I know you get like a stupid little, off election year win here and there, and you start bragging about it, but that shows your desperation. You're so desperate for a win, you'll take that stupid Mar-a-Lago, which, by the way, is under investigation, if you ever heard that guy got arrested. You take those little victories, and you think that they mean something. Like, look what happened at Mar-a-Lago. Mm-hmm. And then you find out homeboy gets arrested. Do you support this? Yeah, you have to start answering that question now. Because I'm going to make you answer it. Do you support this? I don't know. We'll think about it. Let's take another break. Let's get some weather and traffic, can you? Mark Christopher is here to help. He's at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We'll be back. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 southbound in Windsor, you've got delays now from exit 37 down to 35 for the 291 interchange. Again, delays in Hartford 33 down to 32 A&B. More sluggish traffic, 27 down to 28, and you'll see another slowdown again as you move down by exit 19 in Meriden. If you're on the westbound side of 84, that's slowing, approaching the Boakey Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound delays 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 westbound tight, 1D up to the 84 west merge. 291 eastbound slowing, I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge as you head into South Windsor. If you're traveling eastbound 84, look for slow traffic from 56 out to 59 in the 384 interchange on the East Hartford-Manchester line. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, some slow traffic, 9 northbound by 32 in Berlin. We have an accident, 84 westbound in Waterbury, and that's between exit 25A and 25 center lane block. An accident involving a tractor trailer. Delays are approaching the 691 interchange behind that. Southbound on the Parkway, you're seeing an accident now, and it looks like it's just prior to the West Rock Tunnel. So right now you're seeing delays back into Hamden, and it's a pretty lengthy delay, too. Looks like delays are back to exit 53 behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Lots of clouds out there despite the warmth. There still could be a couple of showers and thunderstorms coming down from a high in the mid-70s. Tonight, we're cooler with some rain sticking around. Our low is 41, and we'll keep the clouds and drizzle as we head through tomorrow. It becomes a damp and dreary day compared to the past few, a high of 46. Tomorrow night, cloudy with a touch of rain. Our low is 40. And Friday, we'll keep the clouds and drizzle in the morning, then get brighter with a high of 66. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. An arrest has been made in a homicide from last month in Hartford. Police have arrested 21-year-old Xavier English of Hartford. He's charged in the shooting death of 49-year-old Colin Roberts of Windsor back on March 12th. Roberts was found dead at the scene on Albany Avenue. English faces charges of murder and carrying a pistol without a permit. UConn men's basketball team headed to Indianapolis for the Final Four. The Huskies were given a hero's send-off from the Storrs campus today, 3 days after their improbable win in the regional finals. UConn is seeking its third title in 4 years, 7th overall. The Huskies play the Fighting Illini of Illinois in one semifinal on Saturday. Republicans at the state capitol offering their version of a state budget. GOP leaders say their plan offers savings to the tune of $1 billion to taxpayers and isn't loaded with gimmicks like the one they say the Democrats unveiled and passed in committee this week. Launch of Artemis 2 is about an hour away. It's the first manned mission to the moon in over 50 years. The crew of 4 will orbit the moon and also go to the far side of the moon that's never actually been seen by human eyes. New Haven's mayor and other advocates are calling for an end or at least restrictions on those so-called juice bars where minors are concerned. Officials say gatherings have resulted in minors being served alcohol, large unruly crowds, and related disruptions and even shootings. An 18-year-old woman was shot and killed during one such gathering last Halloween. Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the Trump administration's attempts to do away with birthright citizenship. Administration officials say that element of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution was meant for freed slaves and their children, not to kids born to people here illegally. Chief Justice John Roberts told Solicitor General John Sauer it's unclear how already recognized exceptions to birthright citizenship can be at play here.
Children of ambassadors, children of enemies during a hostile invasion, children on warships. And then you expand it to the whole class of illegal aliens are here in the country. I'm not quite sure how you can get to that big group from such tiny and sort of idiosyncratic examples.
And ruling is expected earlier in the summer. Wall Street, the Dow gained 224 points today. NASDAQ picked up 250. S&P was up 46. Red Sox finished off their series in Houston with a 6-4 loss to the Astros. They come home for the home opener against the Padres with a 1-5 record, and we will have that game and all the festivities right here on WTIC News Talk 1080 Friday afternoon, beginning with the pregame at 1:10. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Rivian is going to make robo-taxis for Uber in a deal worth more than $1.2 billion for the EV maker. Uber announced it's going to purchase 10,000 fully autonomous R2 vehicles with an option for another 40,000. The Rivian R2 robo-taxis are scheduled to be available in 2028, with Uber launching the service in San Francisco and Miami before expanding to other markets. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. Ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. You know what time it is.
Now, what have we learned?
What have we learned?
What have we learned from this little fable?
So what have we learned if nothing else, children?
So what have we learned, huh? So what have we learned from that?
So what have we learned here today? What have we learned so far?
Well, we learned that the Boston Red Sox are going to go into their home opener with a 1-5 record. They lost 5 straight so far. 5 straight. So they come in to Fenway with a losing record, and they're at the bottom of the AL East right now. Yankees at number 1. Ugh. Anyway, that bothers me. Yeah. Anyway, we also learned that you're not supposed to say anything bad about Ketanji Brown Jackson, according to most. We also learned that Reese don't give a damn. Reese can do whatever he wants. And here's something that I just learned. Someone asked me to look this up, and so I did it. And it was like, well, you bring up all the Democrats. Why don't you bring up the Republicans? I would be happy to. I don't have to, but I would be happy to. And you know what? I already knew it. In my heart of hearts, I knew what I was going to get. And it said, this sucks that I have to do this. I looked it up. At the state and local level, where there have been taxpayer theft cases, and this is according to the DOJ, between 2015 and 2019, okay, this list comes from the 2010s. Democrats, 58 versus 32 on Republican side. 58 Democrat, 32 on the Republicans. 20 to 25, this is the 2020s list. Again, Democrats, 35, Republicans, 15. In 10 years altogether, Democrats, 93 to 47 against Republicans. You're overwhelmingly. Now, again, this isn't an argument. Do Republicans steal? Of course they do. Of course they do. No man is devoid of sin. But you're kicking butts. Mark Christopher's also doing it. He's kicking butt. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the southbound side of I-91. You're going to see delays in Windsor, and you're going to see the traffic slowing around exit 36 down to exit 35. Again, delays from exit 34, Main Street North down to exit 32A and B. Another bump, 27 down to 28. If you're on the westbound side of 84, look for slow traffic just after 56 Governor Street out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound slowing, 44 to the Bulky Bridge. Again, some tight traffic as you move between exit 56 and 59 in the 384 interchange. 291 eastbound slowing, I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. If you are heading on the eastbound side of Route 2, heavy off of I-84 out to exit 3 in East Hartford. 2 westbound is running slow, 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 southbound slowing Crummell Middletown line to the Aragoni. 9 northbound, you've got some slow traffic, 32 in Berlin up to 34 in New Britain. Still dealing with an accident, 84 westbound in Waterbury between exit 25A and 25. Center lane is blocked. Accident involving a tractor-trailer, delays approaching the 691 interchange behind it. Also a crash southbound Parkway just prior to the West Rock Tunnel. Delays back to exit 50. Let's see, that would be exit 53 in North Haven. 95 southbound, look for delays from the Q Bridge in New Haven down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we head through tonight, we're cooler. Still some rain lingering around for us. A low of 41. Tomorrow, clouds, some areas of drizzle, and it's a damp, dreary kind of day for us. 46 for the high. Tomorrow night, we're still cloudy with that chance for a little bit of rain. A low of 40 degrees. And then on Friday, well, there's drizzle in the morning. Some sunshine will break out in the afternoon as it gets breezy. Those breezes bringing in some warmer air for us. 66 for the high. Saturday, this is where we get warm. Sun and clouds, a few showers possible for the afternoon, but a high of 78. And then on Sunday, will be cloudy, a little bit cooler. Could be some rain in the afternoon, a high of 63. Right now, it's 61 in Farmington, 58 in Windsor, and 62 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Selling your house the traditional way takes time. Agents, showings, repairs, fees. It's a hassle. But what if you could skip it all and sell your home for cash, fast? At Liz Buys Houses, we buy homes in any condition. No commissions, no closing costs, no cleaning, no repairs. We understand that facing difficult situations like lifestyle changes requires support. So whether it's inherited, outdated, or you're behind on payments, we'll make you a fair cash offer within 24 hours. With Liz Buys Houses, you close on your schedule in as little as 7 days. Selling your house can feel overwhelming, but we're here to simplify the process and to give you peace of mind at every stage. Thousands have sold the easy way. Now it's your turn. Liz Buys Houses. Real cash. Real fast. For your free, no-obligation cash offer, text FREE to 303030. Again, text FREE to 303030. Text FREE to 303030.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/radio.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right. Don't forget tomorrow, Markham, West Hartford, Mark Walsh will be here along with Devon Ward. The ombudsman for corrections will be here live. They'll be sitting right here across from me. We'll have a conversation about the string of deaths that have happened in the correctional facilities. Also on Friday, we will be back online for Good Friday, but we've still got a good show planned for you. So I hope that you'll check us out online on WTIC.com, the Odyssey app, or on ReasonRadio.com to watch live. My pastor, Pastor Todd of Bridge Community Church, will be here, of course, to spread the word in the hour of Jesus' passing at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Friday, not tomorrow, Friday, as well as the Bandits. Andrew Decker's band will be here to perform live on Good Friday. You'll be able to check all of that out on WTIC.com, the Odyssey app, and, of course, at ReasonRadio.com to check that out. So stand by for all of that. And, again, tomorrow, Devon Ward. Plenty of stuff. You know, nothing makes me laugh more than people saying that Republicans, conservatives, or MAGA folks are brainwashed, just to use that term. And again, that it's as all of you will say that it's projection. It's not. It really isn't projection. They wouldn't know that word if it hit them in the face, or it would get them $1 million in a spelling bee. They don't know what that word means. What these people don't understand is it's an admitted stupidity on the part of people who would use that phrase. Because nothing could be more brainwashed than knowing that you support a party that doesn't know what a woman is. Can't define it. Scared to death of it. Nothing can be more ridiculous and brainwashed. And the people who still, in fact, would not push back on it for their own wives. If a so-called transgender woman walked into a locker room where their wives or their little daughters were, and they were standing outside, and they saw a transgender woman with a beard standing 6 feet tall had walked into the bathroom that their children were in, while they sit here and go online as keyboard warriors talking about, you're a bigot, you're brainwashed, stand with them outside of an Applebee's when that happens, and you will see that father turn into a Tasmanian devil to protect his own. everything he tells the world or pretends that he believes online, he will sound similar to you. He will become a carbon copy of who you are and will run into that bathroom and protect his children and protect his wife in a heartbeat. Don't let these idiots fool you. They're all liars. And I can tell them to their face that they're liars. All that stuff is platitudes. It's not brainwashed. They're liars. And they know they're liars. They tell me privately, I have to support it, Reese. I have to. It's dangerous out there. I don't want to get canceled. Cowards, all of you. You're afraid of your own shadow. But then again, you always were. It's who you are. And sit up here and call the rest of us brainwashed. How many genders are there? I know there's only a man and a woman, but I can't say that, Reese. I'm a coward. I have to say there are 72 or 86 or whatever the number is they're saying on TikTok. Cowards, all of you. Huh? Can men play in women's sports? Of course they can, Reese. Okay, tell me privately. No, it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Cowards, all of you. All of you. Huh? They know it. So they scream that brainwashed nonsense. They know the deal. They know the drill. They're scared to death of the people. And I'll tell you why. And the bottom line is they know exactly why. Because their side will kill them. They will. They've threatened violence. They do it every day. Did you miss that? Let me play it for you again.
I have an idea. A No Kings protest, but we have weapons and we use them.
Yes, and they know that they will because they're desperate. They can't say that out loud. Huh? You're not allowed to change the orthodoxy if you're just joining us. Look at what Luther Campbell, of all people, Uncle Luke as they call him in the hood, from 2 Live Crew. Where's that ridiculous statement? Here it is. Luther Campbell. What did he say? Y'all are wrong. I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for free speech, so I respect your right to speech. But this hits different. You're turning your back on black women, black people, black women, the same audience that built you, while standing with Donald Trump, who has disrespected black women, said Luther Campbell. It's not about being hypocrites. These people are liars. That's all they are. And they can lie to themselves all day, but don't allow them to lie to you. I won't. They won't lie to me. The only thing they could do is pitch a fit, stomp around and cry. That's it. Cry. Come on. Whine a little for me. I love it. I'll never, ever bore myself. I mean, I'll never, ever be bored of watching these people moan. Never. Never. But we're going to try to get Luther Campbell on this show. We're going to try to our best to get him on here. We're going to ask him this question. Who are you to tell somebody about disrespecting black women? Who are you, sir? You are who you are for disrespecting black women. You made your bones. You're like one of them drug dealers who turned yourself into a millionaire and then ran out and did ads that said, say no to drugs. No one's listening to you. You're the worst advocate for black women. It's absolutely appalling that I would have to listen to you. To be lectured by you, Nick Cannon? I mean, damn, Nick Cannon? That boy's hardly a threat. Well, he is a threat to... he is a threat to marriage and... and all types of regular monogamy, but, you know, whatever. I mean, he's a threat to anything. He is a threat to marriage. Apparently, he's just, at least he is, he doesn't believe in abortion. I mean, God bless the guy. Nick Cannon he is motivated to work. But Nick and Chili from Left Eye, I mean from TLC, a washed up R&B singer. I'm sorry, I hate to call it that, but that's what it is. What threat is she to the black community? What, seriously? Chili from TLC? Let that poor girl support who she wants to and get on stage and sing Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. Huh? Just let her go out there and make her little bit of money. Doing a little shimmy dance. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Let her do her thing. And poor girl. She ain't never disrespected no black women. Not to the level you have. I can't believe that. It's like Snoop Dogg coming out here talking about, don't you be disrespecting black women. That guy? He is hilarious. Luther Campbell. I really hope he wants to come on. We've got Adam 12 working on it. I called his his booking agent today and left a message on their voicemail. I did get to him. Apparently they have a New York office. We're going to try to get him on the show. And he's running for Congress. Where? I'm assuming in Florida. But where is this man running for Congress? And if he wins, what can you say about that? Roland, can you find out can you find out for me real quick where Luther Campbell is running for Congress? I'd love to find out where he's running. I got to find out the district he's running in. It's got to be Dade. It's got to be. It's got to be in Dade. Where else can he run? Like Miami-Dade County. That's got to be it. Florida's 20th district. Does that cover Dade? That's got to cover Dade. Florida's 20. He really is running for Congress. I'm crossing my fingers that I got it right. The 20th district's got to be Dade. Let me see. I'll look it up real quick. I'm going to throw this thing in front of me. I'm going to move my microphone. Florida's 20th. Broward and Palm Beach. Yeah, look at that. That looks legit. How is that not Miami? That looks exactly like Miami. It says 19. Well, I got the 20th here. 20th district. It looks like that looks like Miami-Dade. Or it's very close, too. But if it's, would you say Broward County? Is that what you, Broward County? Yeah, that's got to be it. That's got to be it. That's definitely in that area. I don't even know Florida, down that far in Florida at all. Some of these so-called Democrat women do not only pitch a fit, but they can pitch a tent. Shut up, Stevie V. He is such a knucklehead. You know what? I'm mad at you because you made me read it. That's why I'm mad at you. I'm only giving you crap because you made me read it. Now I'm really upset with you. You're a knucklehead. I don't know. We'll see if we can get him on the show. And disrespecting Michelle Obama. Not supposed to talk about her either. Ugh. This is so upsetting to have to witness. Anyway, that's it. We're about to get up out of here. We will be back tomorrow. I hope you'll check out the program. And plus, big deal tomorrow. You know, Mark from West Hartford, this will be, in essence, his radio debut. He's called here for years. He's called this network for years, this station for years. And we'll finally have him in studio to come hang out. So I hope you guys are here for that. And get it's a thrill out of it as I will. Also, it's unfortunate I'm not going to make it down to Madison today. I got to call the kid, TJ, let him know I'm not going to be there because it'll take too long to get down there and then get back up for my 8:30 meeting at Bristol Community. So I won't be able to go there. Yes, Jason, I saw they lost again, 5 straight. Yeah, so it'd be impossible for me to get down to Madison. By the time it takes me to get there, it'd be 7 o'clock. And then I got an 8:30 meeting I got to do at Bristol, so I'm never going to make it, so it's not going to happen. But there is another event on the 4th, if not the 7th, I'll be going to. I think it's the 7th. I'll be going to that. So stand by for updates with that. I also found out that the calendar for the Boston Red Sox as it pertains to this show is, weirdly enough, Wednesdays and Thursdays throughout the season. Did you know that, Roland? Did you see that on there? Yeah, Wednesdays and Thursdays are the dominant days that we will be preempted for the Red Sox. In fact, I think it's all this month. It'll be Wednesday, and then in May, it's Thursday. But it's not a lot of games. I actually went through the whole schedule through AI, and it broke them down, and it's not a lot. So we will not be preempted as much as we thought we were going to be. Apparently, they have a hell of a lot of night games. Like, a lot of the games are starting at like 7, 8, and I think they're going to be traveling a lot in the West Coast, so they've got a lot of 10 and 11 o'clock games as well, because they'll be playing, Seattle and Washington and San Francisco and all of those places like LA. A lot of those games will be on the West. So they won't be preempting our show all of that much. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. Now we'll keep you informed. And you know what I should do? I should put the schedule on the website. That's what I should do. I'll put the schedule on the website so that we can know and we'll be alerted, or you'll be alerted on which shows are going to be online. Look at that. There you go. That's simple. I think that works. That'll be perfect. All right, that's what we'll do. All right, good show today. Glad you folks were a part of it, and we will see you tomorrow at the same bad time. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow, and we will see you back here at 2 p.m. mañana. Mark Christopher, he is back, and he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Hey, good night, Reese. We'll see you tomorrow. If you're 91 southbound coming into Hartford, delays 36 to 35. Again, 34 down to 32 A and B. More slow